League anthem in the background. Celtic lined up in their green and white hoops. White shorts and white socks. LASK are all in red tonight as they look to try and overcome the 3-goal deficit. And now the Celtic players walk down the line and doing the little hand slaps with their opponents before hostilities begin. It was a hard-fought victory, but it was a very impressive victory at Celtic Park last week. Can Celtic finish the job here tonight? Austin Trusty has recovered from a stomach bug that kept him out of training yesterday, and it's the same Celtic 11 who will kick off this one as they did a week ago in Glasgow. Both teams having their team picture taken down beneath us, away across to our left-hand side. It's the home standing area, and it's like a mini version, if you know the Borussia Dortmund ground, a little bit like that, with everyone standing, everyone chanting and jumping. I'd expect that to go on. Well, certainly the outset of the game as they get right behind their side and look for a good start, but maybe Celtic can just coil that atmosphere by taking this thing out of the game, getting a goal of their own. That would be the ideal scenario. But let's just see. But before kick-off, we are going to have a moment of silence here to just remember the Celtic fan who passed away at last week's match, James McIntyre, and LASK making the approach to Celtic and asking them if they could do this, and it's a really nice touch from the Austrian side, and we will just acknowledge that just now. A moment of silence there, beautifully respected by everyone inside the ground for James McIntyre, who sadly passed away, having taken ill inside Celtic Park, watching his favourite team last week. And both sides now go into the respective huddles. LASK break out, and they make their way to that band of ultras behind the goal of Lucas Ljungwirth, and applaud them.
For rights reasons, we are not able to bring you this programme on a worldwide stream. For listeners in the UK trying to access weekend sport coverage, please go to bbc.co.uk/sportscotland and follow the links there. For rights reasons, we are not able to bring you this programme on a worldwide stream. For listeners in the UK trying to access weekend sport coverage, please go to bbc.co.uk/sportscotland and follow the links there. For rights reasons, we are not able to bring you this programme on a worldwide stream. For listeners in the UK trying to access weekend sport coverage, please go to bbc.co.uk/sportscotland and follow the links there. For rights reasons, we are not able to bring you this programme on a worldwide stream. For listeners in the UK trying to access weekend
Carter Vickers out to block it really early and really well.
Long throw in from the left-hand side into the Celtic box. Celtic managed to deal with that, and Donovan just thumps it high into the night sky here and over the halfway line. It'll be chased by Duran, but it's met there by Bogarda, who's going to be first to it in the midfield. No one seems to want to take control of the ball. Who's battling away? Bauer too, and it breaks for Tierney on the halfway line. Left-hand side, just tries to flick that beyond his man, but it's intercepted by Jurgensen, and Jurgensen can come forward down the right-hand side now. McGregor backtracking into the edge of the box, away by Trusty, picked up by Bogarda in the midfield, but it's a loose touch from him, and Nugren takes it off his toes, and then Hu plays it out to the left-hand side for Yang. Yang crosses the halfway line in towards the centre circle, and then to his right is Colby Donovan. Now Duran just about 10 yards inside LASK territory, goes back the way to Carter Vickers, and Celtic again just trying to dictate the tempo themselves, not allowing LASK to do that, as Trusty plays it into his captain Callum McGregor. Back to Carter Vickers, about 15 yards inside his own half, square to Trusty. Couple of touches and then out to Tierney. Tierney first time ball forward, looking for Hu, but Tornick is there, out of play though on this near side. But, Celtic showing no signs of nerves in this in the early stages of this game. 0-0.
No, they won't either. LASK, as we expect, have been aggressive, trying to put Celtic under pressure.
Here's Yang into the box, wins his side. Oh, he doesn't win inside the corner. Referee points for a goal kick. He was in a good position to see perhaps a last touch back off the Korean winger. It will be a goal kick to the home side, whose fans bounce up and down behind that goal, away to our left-hand side, and a host of huge flags being waved as well, adding to the atmosphere here. Celtic pick up through Donovan, back to Nugren and then McGregor. Celtic seem plenty of the ball in these early stages. 4 minutes in, no goals. Celtic leading by 3-0 on aggregate, as Yang tries to spin away there from Jurgensen. Comes off the Danish wing back and out for a Celtic throw-in, which goes back to Trusty. Only once have Celtic gone out after building up a 3-goal first leg lead. That was back in the Cup Winners' Cup semi-final, 63-64 against MTK Budapest. Lost the second leg 4-0. The only other time they've relinquished a 3-goal advantage was European Cup second round in 69-70. They lost the second leg to Benfica 3-0, but eventually prevailed with a toss of a coin. We're hoping we don't need that tonight, James.
No, absolutely. They'll be making sure that they don't have to face that. That's quite incredible.
Here's McGregor down the left-hand side for Yang, just coming up to the edge of the box. That's a nice ball for Bauer. Bauer just pokes the goal wide, just wide. Who could only have been a matter of inches away from making contact inside the 6-yard box. Bauer almost sent it in himself. So close to the opening goal for Celtic after just 5 minutes.
That's a sensational pass from Yang. He's out on the left-hand side. He just plays it outside of the boot to Bauer, who's making the run in, and I just think he hesitated slightly. He could probably swing the left foot at it, go for goal himself, or flash it across. He delays slightly, hits it with the outside of his right boot, and Who's coming flying in at the back post, but just can't get the contact on it. But the pass from Yang is outstanding.
Yeah, it really was. Home fans trying to get behind their side, but it's Celtic who are making a lot of the early running. But here's Horvath trying to change that for the Austrians. Out to the left-hand side for Bello, the wing-back. McGregor's there, getting his body in the way. Brilliant play from the skipper, and he's been fouled by Bello. And you can hear the reaction of the home fans to that decision by the Polish referee, but it looked like a good one. And McGregor did terrific work to get back there and ensure that Bello couldn't get the cross in. 6 minutes in, it's 0-0 here.
Yeah, it's excellent from McGregor, because Donovan was out of position, had to go and press higher up the pitch. McGregor has to get back in, and he does really well against Bello, because it looked like he was going to get the cross in. He had options in the middle of the box, but he delays, goes for the fake, runs it up the line. McGregor gets his body in, defends really well.
LASK trying to come forward down the left-hand side. They've got themselves a throw-in. The defeat at Celtic Park for LASK was their first of the season after 4 straight wins. 4 straight wins is what Celtic have recorded at the outset of this campaign themselves, looking in pretty formidable form thus far, as Jurgensen knocks it on for LASK, but straight to Carter Vickers, who gets it back here from Nygren. He'll just turn back to his goalkeeper, the Finn Sinisalo. Plays out to his left-hand side to Trusty. Trusty sends that down the channel for the willing run of Kasper, who, tracked here by Hollick, holds it up well. There's the Dane. This plays it back to Yang on the left-hand side here. Little step over away from Hollick, and then knocked behind by Yumba at the expense of a corner. And it's impressive stuff here in the opening exchanges from Celtic. Still 0-0 on the night, 3-0 to Celtic on aggregate.
Yeah, and that's the difference. It looked like LASK could get a good press on. The ball comes out to Trusty. He doesn't really have a pass on, and he just plays the ball in behind for who. He's a willing runner, holds it up well. Yang does excellent again. Little step over onto the left, and it's defended well at the near post. But having Kasper Hout, such a difference for Celtic.
Bauer rolls the corner back to Tierney, then it's back with Bauer, swings it in this time, it's headed away out of that penalty area, and Donovan puts the pressure on but knocks it back to the young goalkeeper Lucas Ljungwirth, just 22, but very much the first choice here for the Austrian champions, as he was last season, as they won that first title in 61 years. McGregor here having to battle away, eventually losing out to Horvat, who advances up to the edge of the penalty area, turns away from Bauer, but McGregor kept coming back and takes the ball from Horvat and plays it out to the right hand side for Duran. Certainly LASK still look like they can be a danger in this game. They absolutely need the first goal in the tie, you would feel, if they'd have any chance of turning it round. Buyumba to Jurgensen. Jurgensen's going to try a big switch of play to his opposite wing back Bello. It's a lovely ball and a good first touch from Bello out there on that left flank into Horvat. He comes back the way to Buyumba, just inside the Celtic half, as is everyone else barring the goalkeeper. Out to the left hand side here for Andrade, left centre back, swings a good ball in, up goes Adeniran, and it had to be a good challenge in there, ultimately knocking it behind for the corner, because Adeniran almost just had a free header, but the challenge coming in to knock it behind. It will be a last corner, left hand side, but promising there for the Austrians.
Yeah, it was, and something we've seen quite a bit last week. Cross into the box and get two good targets in there, but Austin Trusty with a magnificent header. Make sure he gets there first. They need to go and defend the corner now.
Horvat from the left, right footed. About to swing it in, he's going to take it short actually, gets it back now from Bogart, change of angle, on the angle of the box, swings it in but straight into the arms of Sinisalo, who bowls it out for Yang to immediately go in the counter, and Celtic have got 2-on-2 here. They might have more than that. That's a poor pass from Yang, and Bello's going to come across and get there before Duran, because Celtic were getting Hu and Nygren forward, and just a little bit more patience and precision from Yang there, and they could really have been in.
Yeah, he had Bauer and Hu up on the right hand side. He could just get his head up, because Duran had made that run from the right hand side into the centre, which opens up the space in the left back area for LASK. And Bauer and Hu were making the ground up, and just a little bit more composure there from Yang. Celtic could have gone and taken the lead.
Yeah, well, I think a number of people have said in the build-up to this game that as much as LASK will be a threat, that feel that Celtic can score. Martin O'Neill said as much last night, and certainly the opening 10 minutes of this game would suggest there will be chances for them. They've already passed up one good one. Bauer sending an effort just wide, who was also only inches away from connecting and sending it into the back of the net. 0-0 it stands though, 3-0 on aggregate it remains for the Scottish champions, as McGregor just inside his own half, pressurised by Adeniran, but plays the pass out to the Colombian Duran, who got those two fantastic goals at Celtic Park and has already made himself a hero for his new supporters. Out on the left hand side now, it's Andrade clipping one forward right onto the forehead of Carter Vickers. Lubicic can't get there ahead of Bauer, but now Horvat will pick up in the middle of the park for the Austrians. Plays it short to Buyumba, just inside his own half, down the channel now. Right hand side, it's Lubicic. throw into Celtic. Tierney will take this deep in his own territory. Down the line it comes. Who flicks on, but mopped up by Bogarde. And then Andrade fires it forward. Trusty's there, but his clearance is a poor one. Lubicic up to the edge of the box, finds Jurgensen at the byline. Can he cut it back for a teammate? Picked out, but picked up by Lubicic again. Brilliant block in there by Carter Vickers. Comes out to Andrade, his shot blocked as well. Carter Vickers has taken a sore one there, took one for the team. But Celtic keep LASK at bay, but opportunities coming for the home side. Still it remains 0-0 though.
Yeah, it's a strong block from Carter Vickers. I suspect it's in a very delicate area. He's taking the block because he was down straight away, but he's back up. Looks okay. A slack pass from Austin Trusty allows LASK to go and get that ball into the wide area once again.
There's Lubicic out to the left-hand side. Andrade swings it in. Carter Vickers is there again, just gets the glancing header to take it out for a throw-in down at the corner flag in this near side. LASK just upping the ante somewhat in search of that opening goal on the night, which they will feel would just give them a glimmer of hope to get back in to the tie overall. Throw-in on this near side then, right-hand side, and it comes to the penalty area. It's Who going back there to defend it. Yang and then Bauer help it on out of the penalty area. It comes, and then poor pass from Bogarde, and Celtic could be in here. It's Casper Who, only Bello back. Duran's up with him. It's Casper Who going for goal, saved by the goalkeeper. It's a good stop, but Casper Who will feel that he perhaps should have tested the goalkeeper more than he ultimately did. But another big chance for Celtic because of slackness from LASK, but it remains LASK 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it's good from Bauer initially, then Who picks it up and driving forward. He's got Duran inside him, but the space just opens up for him. He's trying to pass it into the far corner. Maybe Power would have been better.
Here's a Adeniran coming forward on the left-hand side for LASK. Into the penalty area he comes. Couple of options in the middle. Who's it going to come to? Oh, it's knocked behind in the end by Jurgensen, who just, the ball came to him quite quickly. He was almost blinded by a couple of players in front of him, and when it did come to him, he couldn't bring it under control. It was behind for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0 here, but chances at either end.
Yeah, it's opening up, isn't it? I mean, Celtic go through it. I'm not saying Who should score, but he's got a chance to score, and then almost instantly LASK up the left-hand side, Adeniran and Power and pace, and he's got options in there. You're right, it just bounces just in front of Jorgensen where he can't quite get the contact he would like.
Here is Lubicic out to the right-hand side for Jurgensen. Martin O'Neill down at the edge of his technical area, just looking on, hands on hips, not too animated just at the moment. Be satisfied, you'd imagine, with the way the first quarter of an hour has gone, albeit he would have loved one of those chances to have ended up in the back of the net, as there's a stray ball forward at Kieran Tierney. Just let's run out of play, behind for a Celtic goal kick. And the LASK coaches down below us there, well, they're a bit more animated because they need to see more from their sides. Dietmar Kuber, the manager, performed something of a Martin O'Neill-esque rescue act for last season when he came in last year. That's a lovely play from Bauer to slip it through for Nygren. He's got Duran out to the right-hand side, and that's where it goes now. The Colombian winger Donovan goes on the overlap, comes back in field to Nygren instead. Now it goes out to Donovan, about 15 yards from the byline. Back to Duran, right-hand side. McGregor wants it. Here he is, the Celtic captain. Back out to Donovan. Forward for Duran, claims for offside. Flag stays down for the moment as Duran has it. Back the way to McGregor once more. Comes in field off that right flank, looking for a yard of space for the shot. Instead he feeds Tierney. Tierney at the edge of the box, semi-block, claims for a handball as it is cleared away. I don't think that will result in a penalty, even if it did come off the hand, but might be worth a check certainly from the Dutch VAR.
Yes, it did look like it come off his arm, but whether that's the supporting arm underneath him as he slides in, will obviously be checked. Whether it's going to be enough, as you say, Al, I'm not so sure.
Well, we've got Scott Brown watching on in the studio. We'll no doubt get a replay of that, so we'll maybe cross back to Glasgow for that expert analysis from the former Celtic captain. Scott, have you managed to have a look at that yet, either in real time or indeed a replay?
Just in real time. It's not came up on the replay at this moment, but it's the hand's second movement. It's very, very harsh if it even goes to VAR, but for me, Kieran's hit a shot, it's hit off his leg, it's bounced up, and it's maybe clipped his arm at best.
Yeah, so it looked like a pretty optimistic claim from Tierney at the time, but Celtic certainly seeing glimpses of the last goal in these opening 20 minutes of the game. As it's out to the left-hand side, Uzor and Adeniran linking up, and then the challenge comes in from Donovan. He claims it should have been a goal kick, but the corner is given over on that far side. As we continue to look for the opening goal at either ends here. The corner is going to be taken by Horvat just in front of the couple of thousand Celtic fans who are housed over in that standing area on the far side. Once again following their team in good numbers all around Europe, as Horvat signals with the left arm and swings it in near post with the right. Glance to the back post, that should have been a goal, but it's wide. It was just glanced at the near post towards the back post, and Bayumba, I think it was, who was coming in, got closest to it but couldn't make the connection, and it remains LASK 0, Celtic 0.
It's a big chance, great delivery, and we know the height and physicality they have. He manages to get three at the back. Don't know if it was Andrade or Bayumba, but he just can't get the contact to put it into the back of the net. Big opportunity.
Andrade's won it in a good area, and he's gone for goals. Taking a deflection, it's off the post. Oh my goodness, how close was that? Whacked away and behind for a corner kick. With the deflection, had Sinisalo beaten, he dived away to his right. He couldn't get there, but it comes off the inside of the post, bounces to Kieran Tierney, who just whacks it out of play. But that has really encouraged the home side once again.
I thought it was in. Strike, massive deflection. Sinisalo scrambling to his right hand side. I don't know if he gets a touch to it or not. Comes off the base of the post and looks like it's going to roll over the line.
Here's a corner from the right hand side, headed away by Nygren. Horvat will try and get there ahead of Bauer. He manages to do that, and he'll send it back out, looking for Uzor here on the right, but McGregor was in the way, and it's out for a throw-in instead. But LASK coming as close as anyone has with that effort from Andrade. Huge deflection off one of the Celtic defenders trying to make the block, and it looked like it was going to just squirm into the back of the net, but fortunately for Celtic that wasn't to be, and so it remains 0-0 after 20 minutes in the Oberösterreich Arena. As Carter Vickers picks up, there's a short ball into Nygren, who's the man who was dispossessed there by Andrade just in the build-up to that. Just maybe needs to be a little bit stronger in the position he was before Andrade struck the woodwork. And the atmosphere inside this little ground is really terrific. I'm not sure that will continue if LASK can't find the back of the net, but they're certainly getting good backing at the moment, the home side. As you listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra 2 on this huge night for Celtic. It's Yang chasing the forward ball from Tierney. Now he's at the byline, left-hand side, up against Torlik here. Into the penalty area comes. Back to McGregor. Shooting chance, is a goal for Celtic! Celtic in front, and it's their captain, Callum McGregor, with the aid of a deflection. As Yang just rolled it back into his path, and from 14 yards, McGregor struck it low, deflected in, past the goalkeeper. What a moment that could be for Celtic in this tie. 21 minutes in, it's LASK 0, Celtic 1, it's 4-0 in aggregate.
Well, it's all about Yang and the work that he does down the left-hand side. First laying it back, then spinning in behind and running. When he gets into the position he's on the byline, he keeps feinting as if he's going to drag it onto his left, just waiting for that moment to step back inside onto his right. Lays it onto the path of Callum McGregor. It's not a powerful strike, but it's on target. and Jingworth's just about to pick it up, and one of his defenders, I couldn't see which one it was, just toes it into the net. But Yang, excellent down the left hand side, and we know how clean a striker the ball Callum McGregor is. Hit the target and make the goalkeeper and defenders work, and they couldn't keep it out the back of the net.
Well, it was already a long way back for LASK. It has just got that bit longer as Callum McGregor gets his first goal of the season, a 14th in Europe all told, and his 118th appearance. Let's hear from his predecessor in that role. Scott Brown, what did you make of that one?
Yeah, look, for Jan, he's done unbelievable. It's his give and go, it's his pace to get in behind as well, and his willingness. And then picks out Callum McGregor, which look, it's a great hit, but gets a slight deflection. But look, he'll take that.
Absolutely will. Take the corner here as well. Yang had a shot from 25 yards. It was also deflected, and Ljungberg couldn't keep it in. And everything going Celtic's way from the deflected shot off the post at the other end, and only a matter of a minute or two later, up the other end, and McGregor's strike deflected past the last keeper to give Celtic a precious advantage on the night, and a 4-goal cushion overall as Bauer prepares to take this corner kick from the left-hand side. The 22-year-old German swings it in near post, but the referee spotted a bit holding from a Celtic player inside the penalty area and blows for the free kick, and LASK will have that. 23.5 played, and Celtic in a wonderful position, James.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it was spoke about it before the game. The first goal in the game was always going to be massively important, particularly if it goes the way of LASK, for them to go and get the motivation to try and get themselves back in the tie. But we knew it was crucial for Celtic to go and weather the storm, and they had to, and make sure that they score the first goal. Chances, better chances than the one McGregor takes.
Here's Horvat trying to get out to the left-hand side, but it's cut out. Celtic defending their blocks well. It's now Bello over on the left-hand side into Andrade. He was the man who was denied by the woodwork shortly before Callum McGregor gave Celtic the lead. Well, if this lead were to be surrendered, it would be an absolute nightmare for Celtic, but you just can't see it the way they're playing. They're so assured, attacking when it's on, defending well when they have to. And LASK are toiling right now as Bayumba, who's also had a good opportunity which he passed up, flights out the diagonal, looking to release Bell over on that far side, comes off the head of Colby Donovan, out for a throw-in over in the left flank down near the corner flag as LASK attack, looking for an equaliser on the night and somehow get themselves back into the tie. But, down below us, their manager Dietmar Kubauer looks pretty disconsolate as the long throw-in comes in from the left-hand side. No one can get the first contact. Then Yang goes in and he was caught, and Celtic will get the free kick inside their own penalty area, and they can just take their time as much as possible over this, as much as is allowed these days. Leading by a goal to nil, courtesy of Callum McGregor a few minutes ago. They lead 4-0 on aggregate as they look to make their way into the Champions League proper, having been denied that by Kairat Almaty this time last year. But it looks very much like they are going to take their place in the draw, which takes place on Thursday, 5 o'clock UK time. You can imagine there's going to be some Celtic fans looking forward to that, looking up the flights, getting the passports ready once more. There'll be some big evenings ahead as LASK on the left-hand side have to go back the way though. Bello under pressure from Donovan, he's done really well. It's picked up by Nugren. Nugren tries to dink it over the keeper and it's just over the top. He was just pressurised. It was who in the end who got the shot off. He and Nugren not quite getting each other's way, but who in the end probably the right one to take it on, but he just got a nudge in the back as he prepared to shoot, and just off target in the end. But yet again, Celtic are the team who are getting the more clear-cut chances. Still 1-0 they lead.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity, and it comes from Kobe Donovan. He's so aggressive. Bello comes to get the ball, he's tight to him, forces him back the way, then gets the tackle which comes into the path of Negrin, and Negrin's got his back to goal, so he's then stepping onto it and probably trying to get the swivel and hit, whereas who's running onto it. They do get in each other's way slightly, leads to a heavy touch from Casper, who is trying to dink it over the goalkeeper. Comes off the goalkeeper, back off him and over the bar, but it all comes from the aggression on the right hand side from Kobe Donovan. And I'm interested to see how LASK play this now, because I'm pretty sure their whole team talk and their whole aim would have been to get the first goal. What do they do now? Celtic, I think, will continue to get chances.
Here's Tierney just outside the box, swings one into the back post. Good touch from Lundberg, had to get there because who was lurking at the back post, but the goalkeeper stretched every sinew to get the fingertips to that and knock it away, and LASK survive on that occasion, but they're well behind in the tie. 4-0 they trail overall as Jurgensen picks up right hand side almost at the byline, looking to get them a goal back, level on the night. It's Biumba, good ball in, but Adeniran with a poor header in the end, off target from only about 8 or 9 yards out. And it will remain last 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, he's beyond the near post. Adeniran, when the ball comes in and he goes to try and divert it in at the near post, but I think he needs to try and flick that on, playing with two strikers as well. One makes it the run to the near, one makes the run to the back. They do soar behind him. You need to try and flick that on and try and catch Sinisalo out rather than going for power. Catches it flush in the forehead, not the execution that he wanted.
The Celtic fans over in the far corner, they were already having a good time, but certainly got that bit better with the Callum McGregor goal. Here comes Adeniran with the opportunity, dragged it wide. Well, that's another good chance for LASK to get on the score sheet, and left to centre, takes the shot on left-footed, and it's all the way across the goal. And it remains last 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, he's always going away from goal. I mean, he creates the opportunity by backing into Carter Vickers, stopping him from getting a clean header, and he makes that run wide, tries to take it on first time and doesn't quite catch it. The angle wasn't great for him, but
Adeniran with a strong challenge, and it's referee's gone into his pocket here. He's sending Sinisalo away, but Adeniran, maybe a bit of frustration there, catching Kobe Donovan as he tried to clear down near his own corner flag. And referee certainly wasn't happy with the challenge. I haven't seen a card yet. I assume it's going to be a yellow one.
Yeah, it looked like he was going into his pocket on the way over.
Yeah.
Then Adeniran turned round to argue with him. The referee looked like he was going to knock him out, to be honest with you, the way that he ran up to him.
I don't think he's shown him a card, though, has he? I think he's kept it in his pocket after all. He did look furious with him. Incidentally, UEFA have apparently given the goal as an own goal at this stage, but I mean, it looked to me like McGregor's shot was clearly on target.
Yeah, I thought it was on target.
So I can't see why it would go down as an own goal.
Maybe because of the actual finish, if you like, was, you know, the defender. I think it might have been Bello that got in at that point. Does swing the boot at it, maybe less of a deflection and more of him actually just making a mistake and putting it into his own net. But still, you would expect that to be awarded to Callum McGregor. Look, he won't care. He absolutely won't care.
Out for a LASK throw-in on this near side. LASK have only really got themselves to blame that they're 4 goals down in the tie, because both at Celtic Park and here on the night, where Celtic have been ruthless and clinical, they have been the exact opposite.
Yeah, I mean, same kind of theme as we saw last week, and I don't think we expected too much different, to be honest, but they have looked dangerous. They've got them into good positions, they've put dangerous crosses in, they've had their opportunities but haven't taken them. But Celtic have had a couple as well. It's not as though they've just taken the first chance that they've had. But that was the difference last week, and it certainly looks like it's going to be the difference again.
Oh, that's a terrible back pass. It's Uzor, it's an equaliser. Nugren with a blind pass, and he's given an absolute gift to Moses Uzor, who strokes it past Sinisalo from the edge of the penalty area. What was Nygren thinking? Presenting it on a plate for Moses Uzor, and from nowhere the equaliser arrives for LASK, and it's back to where we started tonight's game, 3 goals down, but on the night it's LASK 1, Celtic 1.
Oh, you're spot on, Al. It's a gift. Ball comes to Nygren, he just blind pass, expecting Carter Vickers to be in the position he passes it to. He's further up the field, picking up Uzor, who gambles on the slack pass from Nygren, and it's a lovely composed finish, but that is an absolute gift.
Well, here comes Bello, LASK with their tails up, looking to try and capitalise on that present given to them by Nygren, who scored such a fabulous goal to open the scoring last week. Ball into the Celtic box again, but that's drifted behind for a goal kick. But I mean, that must be so frustrating for a manager to watch. You know, when they're in such command of the tie, and all of a sudden that just gives everyone in here a lift.
Yeah, I mean, they're just speaking about how LASK only have themselves to blame, and the chances they've created, not being able to take or even make Sinisalo work, and then they're given an absolute gift from a position where they can take a touch. Nygren, it's just a blind pass, a slack pass, and allows LASK, you know, something to cling on to. As you say, then it comes back to they're in the exact same position as they started the game. Again, it makes that next goal all important for them.
We played 33 minutes here in Linz, a pretty little town in the north of Austria, which we have enjoyed over the last 24 hours or thereabouts. And the Celtic fans certainly enjoying, for the most part. They wouldn't have particularly enjoyed that Nygren back pass, and here come LASK again. It's Horvat left-hand side, trying to find room for the shot. He does. It's blocked by Trusty this time, comes out to Bogarde. Now Lubicic, Jurgensen tries to take the shot on, blocked by Tierney. Little bit of momentum here for the home side. Jurgensen back now to Tornik, the Brazilian, and Andrade out to Bello. You can hear the fans, particularly those away to our left-hand side behind the goal, finding their voice once more. 1-1 on the night, 4-1 Celtic on aggregate. Still an extremely good position for the Scottish champions. LASK trying to make it a little bit less comfortable for them. On the right-hand side, it's Jurgensen. Back to Buyumba. Just a little pass round the corner to Bogarde. And into his left for Tornik, and now Andrade, who likes to step forward from that left centre-back role. Ball into the box is defended well by Donovan. Yang not strong enough, but then puts a good challenge in. But then Bogarde steps in to win it for Horvat. Out to the right-hand side now for Jurgensen, who clip it into the box. The header comes in from Lubicic, but it's well over the top. It wasn't an easy one to take on that occasion. Over the top it goes. Celtic goal kick. It is LASK 1, Celtic 1 with 10 minutes left in this first period.
Yeah, well, they're continuing to get into wider areas, and actually the last couple of crosses have been from a deeper position, but they have bodies in there. Lubicic is just trying to generate whatever he can on it to change the direction of the ball. Just can't quite again test Sinisalo, but they're certainly pushing for this next goal.
Yeah, if they got it before half-time, you'd have to say the second half would be extremely interesting. Here's Duran on the right-hand side. I haven't seen a whole lot much of him. Here's the goal scorer, Callum McGregor. I gather UEFA have changed their mind again and are giving it to McGregor now, who's well challenged at the edge of the box. And Tornik emerges with possession. Out to Bello, left-hand side. Back it goes to Andrade, who plays it square at the edge of his penalty area. To Buyumba, out to Jurgensen, right-hand side. Infield it comes to Bogarde, who's got Nygren on his heels, and he just goes down and feels the touch. And it will be a free kick to LASK just inside their own half. They wanted to take it from elsewhere, and the referee says, no, you can't do that. You're going to have to take it again. And then they take it from the wrong place again, and he lets that one go.
Exact same spot. I just thought he was maybe wanting to fight again with Nygren, who was complaining about the warden of the
Here's
foul.
Andrade in an advanced position at the edge of the box, looking to find room for the cross. Just lays it back to Bello, left-hand side. Swings it in near post, down to go Sinisalo, who hasn't gathered that. Out for a corner. Just a little bit of uncertainty from the Finnish keeper there, and he's near post, and again all these little things just give the home side a bit of joy, a bit more of a foothold as they try and get their way back into the tie. It's 1-1 on the night, it's 4-1 Celtic on aggregate, as Horvat plays the corner back to Bogarde, left-hand side, low ball in to Adeniran, swivels and tries to shoot, but Tierney was in the way, and it's played up towards Duran, but he can't keep a hold of it. Well challenged by Bello, and it's out now with Horvat on the left-hand side, steps away from Duran, who's gone back to help out his defence. A complete miskick there from who's so fortunate that the ball bounced back off someone's shin into his path, and he's able to hoof it over the halfway line at the second time of asking. Celtic just looking a little bit more ragged at this stage than they ever have in the tie thus far. 8 minutes left in the first period. Still, we've got to remember that they are 3 goals to the good in the tie. As Andrade has it left-hand side, just rolls it back to Bogarde on the halfway line. Square here for Tornik, and then out to the right-hand side to Jurgensen, who plays it through the legs of Tierney and down the right-hand side for Lubicic. He's well matched by Bauer. Out for a throw-in, down near the corner flag, right-hand side. Jurgensen's going to just leave this throw-in to be taken. I think it's Uzor who's got the long throw on him, so he comes over to take this one and tries to launch it into the Celtic penalty area as LASK look to get their noses in front on the night. Uzor with a long throw in to the near post. It's not that long, but it's flicked on. It'll come out to Lubicic. Now Horvat sends it to the back post. Sent back into the Celtic penalty area. It comes out to Bogarde once more. Now it's Andrade, wants it on the left foot, and he's not allowed to do that, and picked up by Nygren, who'll want to make amends for the error that led to the last equaliser on the night. Gets it out to Yang, left-hand side. Yang, who got that assist for McGregor's opener. It's going to be a Celtic throw-in just down below us. The last player's not happy about that decision, but Kieran Tierney will get the throw-in.
It's better though for Celtic because they are under a fair bit of pressure. LASK are really piling it on, they're getting bodies in the box, they're putting crosses in, trying to create chaos, and Yang just taking it for a little run. Okay, doesn't get too far with it, but he gets the team up the pitch and allows a little bit of respite for the defence of Celtic.
Good challenge by Bayumba to prevent Bauer walking onto a nice pass, and now they're coming forward are the Austrians down the left-hand side through Bello. Cross takes a deflection, out comes Sinisalo, gathers that one well inside his 6-yard box, takes the pressure off his back line. It remains after 39 minutes. LASK 1, Celtic 1, 4-1 to the Scottish champions on aggregate.
That's excellent from Colby Donovan because it's a great pass. Bellows away, and he just shows great intensity and urgency to get back and get a block on the cross and allow Sinisalo to come and claim it.
It's hugely important that Celtic get in at half-time with the scoreline the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and you can see that, you know, a couple of minutes ago when the ball comes in, Casper Hughes, wild swing at the ball, misses it. I think that they understand how crucial this period is, and this is what Celtic need to do from this period on. Keep the ball and try and, you know, get control back in the game, because it's become a bit hectic. It suits LASK because they can be more aggressive, throw caution to the wind, put some more bodies forward, try and cause as many problems as they can.
Celtic just knocking the ball about at the back until Trusty launches it down the left channel, looking for who, but he's well matched. And LASK have it back through Andrade, who plays it square into the penalty area for his goalkeeper. He'll be chased down by Bauer, but gets it over the halfway line before the little German can arrive. Carter Vickers, though, brings that situation under control and rolls it back to Sinisalo once more. Just over 4 minutes left, plus any added on time in this first period. Celtic were a goal in front through Callum McGregor on the night, pulled back when Uzor capitalised on a poor back pass from Nygren to make it 1-1. Given away here by Jurgensen. Tierney picks up, it's a lovely pass infield for Nygren. He's got time and space, and he just plays it square to Donovan on the halfway line. Out to Duran, right-hand side. Advances, and then he's caught by Adeniran, and it will be a free kick to Celtic. Right over on that far touch line, right-hand side, as Celtic come forward, midway inside the last half. Just taking it short back the way to McGregor. Now it's Nygren, but 30 yards from goal, into the feet of who spins, tries to play it back to Nygren, who was, I think, being held there, and that's his complaint to the referee. He couldn't continue the run because he was being held behind for a goal kick. The referee's not interested in Nygren's complaints, and it's still 1-1, 4-1 Celtic.
He played the pass into the feet of Casper, who turns. It looked like he's actually going to get a shot away, but he tries to continue his run, Nygren, and I think he was blocked off, but the referee, the assistant referee on the far side, didn't spot it.
Out for a throw into Celtic, over on the far flank. They're looking to avoid a 6th successive failure in Champions League qualification. They're in a good position to do so for sure, but there's Lubicic finding Jurgensen, crossing the halfway line. LASK trying to get bodies forward. Jurgensen might take this shot on, he does, it's blocked by Trusty, and out for a throw-in on the near side. Martin O'Neill just looking a little bit more anxious perhaps than he has done any other stage in the tie thus far, as Uzor picks it up right in front of him, right hand side. Uzor then plays the ball through for Lubicic. He looked offside, is offside, and LASK concede the advantage that they were holding at that stage. Free kick to Celtic inside their own penalty area with just over a couple of minutes left in this first half. Celtic level on the night, but 4-1 up on aggregate, as Uzor making some sort of gesture here. I'm not entirely sure what he's trying to articulate to, and to whom exactly, with the hand gestures he was making. Maybe telling someone to get his half-time snack ready or something.
Yeah, I have no idea who he was trying to speak to, or as you say, what he was trying to indicate to whoever it was.
Celtic have it. Sinisalo plays it out to his right hand side to Carter Vickers. Just a good ball over the top there, who just couldn't get there ahead of the keeper. Bauer picks up, and now Duran takes over at the angle of the box, right hand side. Lovely little flick into Bauer, turns back, and now it's Nygren. He can't quite take it in his stride, but it comes to who? Crowded out, and he has to go back to Yang, and he just loses momentum there. Celtic in such a good position just momentarily, but still they have possession, the crucial thing. Tierney left hand side just clips it down the line looking for Yang. Good strength there from Bayumba, but it comes to Tierney, hoists it to the back post. Looks like there's too much on that. Who will go and try and keep it in? He should be able to, he does so. Right hand side now, Casper, who with there's about 40 seconds left of the opening 45 minutes. Fourth official yet to indicate how long will be added on, if any, as McGregor has it, slides it forward for Donovan, right hand side, good ball across the face of goal. Yang was the only player trying to make inroads though, and was a good yard or two away from doing so, but you can't fault the ball in from Colby Donovan.
No, it's brilliant. It's the only place he can put it. He doesn't have a target as such in terms of a person. I know Yang's got into the back, but you just fire that in. Sometimes you see that defender panic, put it into his own net. The link up just before it between Bauer and Duran was absolutely outstanding.
Well, the answer is there's no time added on at the end of a first half, which has gone largely Celtic's way, and they got the opening goal midway through that first period, and the captain Callum McGregor was played in just inside the box by Yang, just rolled it into his path. Callum McGregor stepped onto it, fired it goalwards. Low shot was deflected past Lucas Jungwirth and into the back of the LASK net to make it Celtic 1-0 on the night and 4-0 on aggregate. All this after LASK had passed up a couple of decent chances. They'd had an effort off the inside of the post only a couple of minutes before that, when Andrade's shot was deflected, beat the keeper, but off the woodwork. Other chances for Bayumba, who couldn't make contact at the back post, and Lubicic had a shot blocked by Carter Vickers. But at the other end, Celtic had also had plenty of chances. Bauer sending an early effort just wide that Who was not too far away from making contact with, and then Who himself having a shot saved before that opening goal went in. Who had another effort just off target at 1-0 before Benjamin Nygren, the Celtic hero so often, but played a blind pass back the way, and played it straight to Moses Uzor at the edge of the Celtic penalty area, completely unmarked, took a touch before sweeping it under the body of Viliami Sinisalo to give LASK some sort of hope that they can still turn this around. But you have to say, it is still looking extremely good for Celtic. The advantage is still as it was at the start of this game. It's 1-1 on the night. It is 4-1 Celtic on aggregate.
Celtic in the UEFA Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra 2 with me, Andy Burke. Half-time in Linz in the second leg of the Champions League playoff, and it's LASK 1, Celtic 1. Still a little bit of work to do for the Scottish champions, but they remain in a very commanding position and are just 45 minutes away from Champions League football. Alistair Lamont and James McFadden have been describing the action from the Oberösterreich Arena. Scott Brown and Tom English are alongside me in the studio. And Scott, it's been a bit of a roller coaster in that first half, which we thought it might be, but Celtic are where they started, still with a 3-goal lead intact on aggregate.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's been a game that's been end-to-end. It's been enjoyable yet again. The amount of chances both teams have had in that first half. It's been a good watch as well. Yeah. There's been some good football, slick football played from both sides. A couple of nice chances, and look, Celtic get off the mark early doors, and then obviously Negrins came under to drop into the midfield. A little bit of slack back pass, and Usor's been hiding behind Trusty, just runs right on, and look, it's a good finish from us as well. And, like, hopefully Negrin's done enough to get Celtic through with his goal last week that he can forget about that. But for me, like, Kobe Donovan and Jan have been unbelievable. Like, Kobe Donovan defensively, but also going forward, and Yang set the tempo early doors, willingness to run in behind him. I talked about that last week as well. Who's going to run in behind when Engels isn't there? And Yang seems to be doing it quite a lot. Bauer's trying to do it, but look, for me, Yang's been the one that's probably been the most positive in that final third.
Yeah, we're just watching a replay of a chance he actually set up earlier in the half, Tom. A lovely little ball for Mika Bauer and Casper, who almost getting the touch, but Yang has been Celtic's kind of creative outlet tonight.
He has. He's been very dangerous, been very sharp, very slick. That pass into Bauer was excellent. Just watching it again. Yeah, Bauer helps it on. It just probably gets too much on it, Scott, to Casper, because it's a great chance. It's like Celtic have created a number of chances, but so have LASK. It's very, very, very end to end. There's a lot of quality out there. Yang, I think, typifies that. Colby Donovan, I agree with Scott, has been excellent again. He looks like a seasoned player in European games. He doesn't look like a 19-year-old. And Celtic are dangerous, but LASK, this is a good LASK side. This is a very, very good side. And they're 4-1 down against Celtic. Good
up until the final third, you would have to say. Their efficiency in front of goal has left a lot to be desired, but they are so threatening. It's over a game and a half, they've created so much.
There's so many chances. They've had 2 goals disallowed. They've missed a couple of sitters. They've had one off the post for Andrade. Just before that, they had Alamau. The back post header, that was a chance, and just after that, it was the Andrade one off, the one deflected onto the post. They're a fine attacking team, but you're right, they don't have the clinical edge, they don't have the killer touch in front of goal. If they did, this side would be, a top side, because I think they got some very clever players.
That was a huge. We're just watching a replay of Casper Hu's chance. Well, it was still goalless, Scott. That was a huge opportunity.
Yeah, he's obviously tried to open his body up and go far away corner. It's one of those ones that Duran's made a good run, then he's probably offside, so he has to go on his own at this point in time. But I think he has to go with power. Yeah. He has to just put the goalie under a lot of pressure. He's opened his body up. The goalie's read him early doors, and it's a comfortable save at the end of the day.
James McFadden watching on in the stadium. It was quite an assured start to the game from Celtic. We warned of not giving LASK early encouragement, certainly not an early goal to get that crowd there up and behind their team. Celtic managed that period pretty well. They get their goal, but maybe around the equaliser, the mistake from Benjamin Negrin, just a little bit of a wobble before maybe gathering themselves late in the half?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a blind pass. It's just a mistake from Negrin. He's not under any great pressure to play the pass. He could take a touch and maybe look forward. He's just trying to take the sting out of the game. And they could capitalise on it. They have had their moments. They have looked dangerous. They've put good crosses into the box. Celtic have got good blocks, and they've stopped the crosses, and they've managed to cope pretty well with it. After the equaliser, there was a period where it did become a bit frantic and almost a bit desperate to get the ball clear. But then again, they showed they can get their foot in the ball and play some passes. There's one that comes forward. It's Carter Vickers and Kobe Donovan are going for it, and it looks like Carter Vickers is going to take control of the situation. You can tell he shouts Donovan, who last minute ducks out and the ball drops down. Carter Vickers then just puts his arm out to say, right, calm down, knocks it back to Sinisalo and takes a bit of control of the game. And Celtic just have to do that again. I think that they've looked dangerous, as we knew they would. They've had good chances, and the goal they concede is one that's a gift. So I think it's more just do that again in the second half. I think having Hu as the outball at times as well is really, really good for Celtic, because at times it goes into particularly in the left back area, the left centre back to Trusty, and there's not a great deal on. So just help it up the line. Hu will go and chase it and cause problems and take the pressure off. I think they just have to get back to that. But they would have known what they were coming into here. They would have known they're coming into a physical side that want to get wing backs high up the pitch. They want to put crosses into the box and get bodies in there. And they have defended well at times. And LASK are going to have their moments, but I think that Celtic, you can see a team that, barring a maybe 5-minute spell, that are really comfortable and confident that they're good enough to see this game out. And I expect that to be a little bit of regrouping at half-time and come out and get back to playing the way they want to play.
Just watching a replay of Callum McGregor's goal, which UEFA were threatening to take off him for a while, Tom. They were marking it down as an own goal and then saw sense. But Yang again is at the absolute heart of that.
Yeah, Tierney sends him away up the left wing. A bit of trickery, picks out McGregor. McGregor's got time to measure his shot. It's a decent hit. It requires that deflection. I think the keeper's saving that. But helpfully Andrade helps it into the back of the net, and Celtic are 1-0 up. And it's a sickener for LASK, but it's a great reward for Celtic, because I think that they put a lot into that first half. They created some good stuff. I think they deserved a goal. I think LASK deserved a goal. I think 1-1 on the night is fair. 4-1 over the game and a half is quite something, because LASK have had, we're just watching another one, just past the post. That was a dinner in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pulls it wide, good position. They've had some amount of chances in the game and a half so far.
Yeah, and it was Callum McGregor's goal ultimately, Scott, and as well as his goal, he's been important in kind of breaking up some of the LASK attacks and doing what Callum McGregor does and being in the right place at the right time and giving Celtic that little element of control, albeit for that little spell they did lose it a bit.
Yeah, his leadership between him and Carter Vickers, they want to take the sting out of the game. You have to take the sting out of the game, especially when that crowd start to get excited as well, especially when they score the goal. So look, that's the two people that for me, I would look at to make sure they calm it down. Martin's now got an opportunity to go on 15 minutes to go and speak to them, and Martin's a very calming influence, and I'm sure he'll be out there going, still got 3 goals here, relax, keep the ball. When they do get an opportunity, which they will come, believe me, because this game's full of them, so make sure we're ruthless like what we were in the first game, but also nothing silly at the back. If it has to go at times, it has to go, because as James says, we've got Casper who there, you've also got Yang that's willing to run in behind, you've got Duran that's got fantastic pace, so don't always invite the pressure on. Sometimes it could be a longer pass, it could go in behind, and it just changes probably that moment in the game, probably for Celtic, as in they have got that pace to go in behind, but also if Callum and Carter can calm things down and take the sting out of the game, I do think they will create a couple more chances.
James, we were all impressed with Kobe Donovan's performance last week in the first leg. For a 19-year-old, seems so assured, and in that first half he's pretty much picked up where he left off from the first leg.
Yeah, I think he's taken it on again. I think his use of the ball's been excellent. His intensity to get forward and also to get back and stop crosses. I think that his performance has been excellent, and it is a little message to say, look, you don't need another right back because I'm here and I'm ready to play. And he doesn't. I think Tom said it earlier. It doesn't look like a young player playing in this team. He just looks like a player that's been in the team. He is not phased one bit, and he's having to do a lot because when you're playing against a wing back, there's big distances you need to cover to get out. You need to tuck in and be narrow and be beside your centre back because they're playing with two strikers, and you also need to get out when the ball's switched. And there's a couple of times where it looks pretty simple and pretty basic, where the switch has been hit, and his position's so good, and he's reading the situation so good that he then gets over and either wins a header or he's able to then go and put pressure on. So I think he's done really well, Colby Donovan, showing everyone how good a player he is, and I'm sure that will continue into the second half. And I think that the big point, and Cameron Carter-Vickers being alongside him has to help him. It has to. He's a top level centre back. He's not only the reading of the game, but how he's speaking, he's talking. He'll be talking to him throughout the full game, and that makes it so much easier. But you still have to go and put the performance in. And young Colby Donovan's looked excellent again tonight, and he looks like he's going to just keep getting better. It's not a performance that you think, right, this is level or just round about the same as last week. I think he's kicked on again.
It's at 19 passes in the match, Colby Donovan, 18 accurate passes. So like he's very tidy on the ball.
Yeah.
Very economical on the ball. Gets forward as well. Gets involved in
Quick
the final
as well.
third.
There was the quick as well. There was that one where
He's quick.
Bello with a load of space down the left, and he's got a great stride, a great lengthy stride, and he just got back and snuffed out the danger.
He's finding his wide man as well. Last week at the start of the game, I felt he had opportunity to just get out his feet and play it into Duran's feet, and he didn't. He'd go inside or he'd go back, but not tonight. It's get it, give it to Duran, either go round him, inside him, or just back him up. Yeah, he's showing new levels again for me.
I think Celtic have their right back. Like, I mean, I don't think they need another right back.
You can see how confident he is now.
Yeah.
And if you've got a fit, a confident Colby, and you've also got Tony Ralston there as well, like, you have got backup just in case. And like, he might not play every single game, but I think it's a fantastic opportunity now. And like, it's a shame that Johnston's injured, but for a young lad coming through, you need that little bit of luck, somebody to get injured, somebody to get suspended, and like, Celtic might have found their long-term right back.
And I think Celtic, he needs Celtic to show faith in him now, and not bring in, a 5 million pound right back who's going to take his place. This kid is developing fast.
Because if this was a player, a right back that had been signed for 5 million and played the way he did last week in this first half, you'd be thinking, we've got a bargain here.
He's good going forward. He's good defensively. He's still a teenager. I'm very, very impressed with this fella.
Right, second half commentary coming up in just a few moments here on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra. It's half-time in the second leg of the Champions League playoff. It's LASK 1, Celtic 1. Second half commentary coming up.
Radio Scotland Breakfast, starting the conversation every weekday morning.
Quick button pick with you, Phil. When we discuss exam results and all the rest of it, and some of us are completely frank about it, and you come and say, I am mixed. But when you say you had mixed results to the nation, what were your higher results? Lauren McKeever's just told me them.
No, I haven't. I told you his sons.
Oh, see? I thought they were your results.
Yeah, here's a dilemma. Which one is worse? You or you? I don't know.
What happened to the saxophone? You flunked that.
Yeah. We're running out of time, producer, aren't we? I think we need to move on to the next thing.
Join Martin Geisler and Laura McKeever for Radio Scotland Breakfast. Listen tomorrow morning from 6 on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
Right, the teams are making their way back out onto the field for the second half of the second leg of the Champions League playoff. LASK 1, Celtic 1, Celtic leading 4-1 in aggregate. Can they see it out in this second half to seal their place in the Champions League? Plenty more to come from Scott Brown and Tom English here in the studio, but let's hand back to our commentary team at the Oberösterreich Arena in Linz, James McFadden and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Andy. Yeah, Celtic just making their way back onto the turf here. for the second period. Now just 45 minutes away from the promised land of the Champions League stage. They were there 3 years in a row, thanks to Scotland's coefficient being high enough that they qualified automatically as a result of being champions of their domestic league, but not so last season when they flunked against Kairat Almaty. But they are very much within touching distance of that return this evening, as Casper, who prepares to kick us off, going from left to right in this second period as we look at it from our vantage point midway up this smallish stand in Linz. As I say, it's a smallish stadium certainly by Celtic Park standards, less than half the size, but the atmosphere has been good. LASK fans have stayed behind their side, and that goal, the equaliser just after a half-hour mark, will give them a bit of positivity. But Celtic looking to end that here with a long throw into the penalty area, and the referee spotted an infringement by who, and it'll be a free kick to LASK inside their own box, as Celtic look to just put the finishing touches to what would be a really impressive victory over their Austrian counterparts. Ball's played up to Adeniran, hooks it over his shoulder. Uzor trying to make life difficult for Trusty, but he and Donovan combine to just thump it clear and over the halfway line. It's out to the left-hand side, and it's Andrade for Horvat coming in off that left. McGregor with him. Still it's Horvat driving up towards the edge of the penalty. It plays it short to Uzor, out to the right-hand side now for Jurgensen. Jurgensen at the angle of the box, back to Uzor, who's just dropping off the front, plays it forward for Lubicic, right-hand side, back to Jurgensen, looking to find room for the shot. Tierney denies her that, and knocks it out for a throw-in over on the far side.
It'll be interesting to see if LASK get a lift from shooting in towards these fans that have not stopped singing.
Yeah, I guess that's their intention, isn't it? Always shoot that way second half. Well, that's a foul throw if ever I've seen one, but as last week was the Rangers Jablonec game, there was about 1 million foul throws from the visitors, none of which were punished, so that's been consistency, at least, if you like, from the various officials.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, that throw in there, just straight down to the ground, right in front of the assistant.
Yeah, they don't seem to care about it for the most part these days. Too busy implementing some of the other new laws. Here's Horvat forward for Uzor, up against Trusty, just tries to push it down the line and then get the better of him. He's still in possession here. Uzor finds Lubicic at the edge of the box. Can he get the shot off? He can! It's a goal! He's beaten Sinisalo down to his left-hand side, and right at the start of this second half, LASK have reduced the arrears to just 2 goals. It's a fine finish from Lubicic from 19 yards. Wasn't sure it should have beaten Sinisalo, but it has done. And, well, if the nerves were going to start jangling, they might start now for Celtic. They trail by 2 goals to 1 on the night, still leading 4-2 on aggregate.
That's a wonderful strike from Lubicic. Left-footed, back across, low and hard, beyond Sinisalo, but Austin Trusty has to defend the situation much better. He was favourite in the situation. Usor's tried to run him, and then he's outstrengthed him. That is unacceptable.
Here's Andrade into the box. It's another chance, and it just took a flick off Carter Vickers before it came to Uzor. It looked like it might have been a tap-in for Uzor, but for the touch from Carter Vickers, who seems to have just... I thought he was just trying to stretch something off there, but it seems to be okay, thankfully, for Celtic. But really important that he got a nick on it, I think, and Celtic survived, because if they'd scored another in such quick-fire fashion, that really would have set alarm bells ringing. As it is, it's LASK 2, Celtic 1, 4 minutes into the second half. It's 4-2 Celtic on aggregate, but the majority of this second half still to come, as Horvat picks up and plays out to the right-hand side for Jurgensen. Uzor back to Horvat once more, who's looking to dictate the captain of the home side, and it's played right across that 6-yard box to Celtic. Donovan takes responsibility, knocks it behind, but if you just look behind that goal, James, the The ultras that we've been talking about, well, they are in pretty fervent mood right now, jumping and singing and adding real colour to this atmosphere here.
No wonder. It's exactly the start that LASK were looking for to the second half. And this is a game now. Celtic are in a game. They're going to have to see this period out.
Horvat's corner from the left-hand side. Out comes Sinisalo, gets something on it. Andrade was in there as well, but it comes out to Yang, and Yang can try and carry Celtic up the field. Chased by Buyumba. Still it's Yang going. Jorgensen's going to get there, and he's tripped by Yang. And it'll be a free kick, and now the LASK players are urging the fans to get right behind them. They're going to need them for the next 40 minutes if they are to mount the comebacks, to top all comebacks. Adeniran could be in here. Carter Vickers just holds him off. That was a good battle of strength. I think Celtic are going to get the free kick in the end for Adeniran's attentions on Carter Vickers. He stayed down. But yeah, it's, as James said, it's game on here in Linz.
Yeah, he does well. Carter Vickers, Adeniran, muscles, Austin Trusty. Carter Vickers there to clean up and just see it through to Sinisalo. You can see the lift even it's given LASK. They had to come out with their eyes in this second half, believing they could get a goal and make it as nervy as possible.
Carter Vickers inside his own penalty area, tries to step away from Adeniran, takes an extra touch that he didn't need. He's robbed by Bogarde. Fortunately, McGregor's on the cover and just gets it to Nygren, back to Carter Vickers. They're still in a tight corner. Celtic trying to stay as composed as possible. Comes off Lubicic, and it'll be a goal kick. But, well, Celtic taking a few chances, but they do get away with that one. Trailing by 2-1 now on the night, thanks to Lubicic at the start of this second period, and an Usor goal in the first half, turning it round after McGregor had opened the scoring. Still 2 goals in it in Celtic's favour. They cannot afford to panic, and that's when players like Callum McGregor and Cameron Carter Vickers really have to come to the fore. There's some young inexperienced players in that team as well.
Yeah, but you just mentioned Carter Vickers and Callum McGregor, so important to how they play, but also about the mentality. And they are still in a good position. I don't see them panicking, but LASK are certainly going to continue to get the ball forward, get crosses into the box, and they'll be desperate to go and get that next goal.
Goal kick taken by Sinisalo to Carter Vickers, then to his right to Donovan. Looks to play in Hu, but he doesn't have the strength to get beyond Andrade, and it's going to be picked up here by Tornik at the back. Now Andrade about 15 yards inside his own half. Bello turns away from Duran, who hasn't been nearly as influential tonight as he was at Celtic Park. Celtic get the break of the ball. Bauer with a missed kick though, and just got to up the concentration levels. Referee's not happy with one of the LASK assistant coaches who's been spoken to now by the 4th official. Here come the home side, it's Horvat who's been instrumental in the comeback. Gets it back from Bello, left-hand side. Plenty of Celtic players behind the ball, midway inside the visitors' half, goes back the way to Buyumba. Into the feet here of Uzor. And Jorgensen now right-hand side. Thought about the early cross, still he has it, now he swings it in, not a great ball. Too much on it, it's going to come all the way out in this near side for the Celtic throw-in. We've played 8 minutes now in the second period. LASK with a 2-1 advantage on the night. Celtic leading 4-2 on aggregate. You're listening to us on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra 2. An enthralling second leg in this hugely important tie as LASK give away a free kick midway inside the Celtic half. Callum McGregor says, I'll take charge of this. And just slows things down ever so slightly before rolling it back to Cameron Carter Vickers. He goes back to Sinisalo at the edge of his box, out to the left to Trusty. Flags away to our left continue to wave, huge flags of the home fans. All the various different supporters clubs and slogans. And Celtic get the throw-in over on the far side. just need to bring the tempo back down to the level they want to play at. It's easier said than done though against a good LASK side, as Uzor tries to make life difficult for Tierney. The ball comes back to Trusty, and now Sinisalo clips it over the halfway line. It might yet work out for who. It's a poor touch from Andrade, and who's going to latch onto it right hand side here. Waits for a bit of support, then tries to slip it into Nugren inside the penalty area. Cross the face of goal, and Duran can't get there. And it's a decent chance that for Celtic. Kept alive though, back out to the right hand side for Nugren on the angle. Donovan on the overlap, will he get there? He can do. Clips it into the near post, but just on the stretch. Jungwirth gets the two gloves to it, and LASK will bowl it out over arm there, looking for Horvat, but it's too much on it, and it's a throw in to Celtic on this near side. And Celtic continue to lead by 4-2 on aggregate.
Yeah, they don't create an opportunity, but at least it's better from Celtic. Casper Hout, willing run up, chasing lost causes and getting Celtic up the pitch, and then the cross from Donovan, just asking a bit much of him. Nygren with the pass. But it is better because it's been all LASK at the second half.
Yang losing out, and Uzor, well, Yang did well to come back and help win it back, and then he's given it away on the halfway line, and now it's Adeniran trying to get the head up, comes off McGregor, but it'll break for Horvat, or it should have done, but McGregor got there ahead of him, and then Duran goes down under a touch in the back from Bello, who claims he was diving, but there was definitely a touch in the back. Whether it was enough to make him go down is arguable, but that's a yellow card now for the LASK coach, Dietmar Kubayer, not happy with the referee giving that free kick to Celtic.
Yeah, taking absolutely zero nonsense, this refereeing team. A few times the fourth officials had to go and have a word with someone on the bench at LASK. Final show for the referee there.
Celtic have it at the back, it's Trusty. 2-1 down on the night, 4-2 up on aggregate as they look to get back to the Champions League proper for the 14th time. Down goes Bogarde in the middle of the park, fouled, and the free kick's quickly taken. LASK have to do everything pretty sharpish. Still 2 goals down in the tie. The ball forward, looking for Bello from Andrade. He's got too much on it, and out of play. And just get the feeling that Celtic have just tempered slightly the LASK momentum that was building at the start of that second half when they got that second goal of the evening. And here comes Celtic trying to build down the left-hand side. Bauer trying to get away from Lubicic, does well, holds him off, and then rolls it back to McGregor on the halfway line. Now Tierney and Bauer, a lovely little triangle with McGregor as well. And now it's forward to Nugren left-hand side. Into the box it comes, headed away by Tornik, and picked up here by Bogarde, who'll clip it forwards. Donovan's not sure where the ball is. It's picked up by Horvat, about 30 yards from goal, running at Horvat. It's not got all that much support, but here comes Adeniran, who takes it on first time. What a goal by Adeniran from fully 28 yards. First time effort from Samuel Adeniran, and LASK are back to within a goal of Celtic. What a tie we have on our hands now. There's still over half an hour to go, and Samuel Adeniran has made it LASK 3, Celtic 1, 4-3 Celtic on aggregate.
It comes off the back. Celtic play it really well down the left-hand side. The little triangles, Bauer, McGregor, it comes to Nygren. Cal McGregor makes a run inside him. Nygren goes for the cross, but he's only got Casper Hout in the middle. It's cut out, and then LASK are away. And when that's laid to the side for Adeniran, and he just steps onto it. He's about 25 yards out. Left foot, side footer, into the side netting. We don't have a great angle of it as to whether Sinisalo can get across to it, but it's a well-placed finish into the side netting, and it was game on at 2-1. It is even more so now. Real quality from LASK.
Yeah, you have to say they are beginning to take their chances. Well, I'm not even sure that you could put that down as a chance. I'm sure if Tom's looking at his XG, that's not going to rate particularly highly on those charts. But Adeniran made it look so simple, curling it first time beyond the outstretched leap of Sinisalo and into the back of the net. And LASK are within 1 goal now of taking this to extra time. As McGregor picks up for Celtic, and this is where he has to come into his own to lead the team and get them through this difficult period. Well, Martin O'Neill warned immediately after the first leg, he warned it wasn't over. Here's Nygren trying to find power, just couldn't get the pass accurate enough, and it's picked off by Andrade, who thumps it forward up towards the man who scored the most recent goal. It's picked up by Uzor now instead. Adeniran continues his run, but it's going to be mopped up by Trusty. The header down for McGregor. Half an hour to play. LASK 3, Celtic 1 on the night. Celtic still with that 1 goal advantage, crucially on aggregate, but they need to get a foothold back in the game. Just slowing it down once more here on the halfway line. It's Trusty. Those fans, particularly the ones away to our left behind the goal, thoroughly enjoying what they're seeing right now as Duran, though, tries to come away from Bello. Bello's trying to stick with him. Duran goes down again, buys a relatively cheap free kick, but the referee does award it, so Celtic will have the free kick about 10 yards inside the last half, taken by McGregor for Nygren. Back to Trusty, and now Tierney back into Trusty's feet, but 10 yards inside his own half. Square to Carter Vickers. The noise ramps up once more around the Oberösterreich Arena. Tornik gets his head to the ball and nods it down to Bogarde, into Horvat. Horvat coming forward, might take the shot on himself here. He does, but it's off target from the captain. But, well, I wonder if it's an opportune time to bring in Scott Brown as the former Celtic captain. You'll have been in tight spots yourself at times, Scott, on European nights. How do you try and turn the tide in this one?
You've just got to have a calming influence, and like Callum McGregor, Carter Vickers, Sinisalo, you've got to make sure they're nice and calm as well. But for me, it's like Negrin's crossing a ball for the third goal there, when there's who that's in the box against a back three that's strong and aggressive. Callum McGregor made a run forward. That's when common sense comes into it. You just got to calm these situations down and don't get too anxious.
The voice there of former Celtic captain Scott Brown. Alongside me here in Linz, James McFadden, watching Celtic about to make a substitution. Sebastian Tinekti is going to come on for the closing, 23 minutes, and Yang will be the player who's replaced, and in fact Rio Atati is going to come on as well, and it's Benji Nygren who's going to make way for him. It remains to be seen how much of a future, if any, Rio Atati has at the club, but he's still a player with huge talent who Celtic will hope can do a job for them here this evening in the closing 24 and a bit minutes of this game. It's Colby Donovan just slicing the ball out of play, and everything's just a little bit more anxious now for Celtic. Throwing the way of the home side. Back the way it goes from Bello to Andrade. Back the way to Tornik, and now Bayumba into Lubicic. Jorgensen now on the right-hand side, forced back the way though. Better from Celtic, but still LASK keep possession. It's clipped in towards the back post here for Bello. Bello's first touch isn't the best, but he'll gather once more. Donovan comes out to meet him left-hand side. Good ball in for Andrade. Oh, he just swept that across goal. It's just too far in front of Adeniran for him to stretch and get on the end of that, but it feels like LASK are going to continue to create opportunities in search of the equalising goal in the tie.
Yeah, I mean, he just sweeps that to the far post. Andrade, Adeniran doesn't see it or read it, because if he just throws himself at it, then the chance of putting that in the back of the net. But the second half, Horvat's come out and he was playing more central in the first. He's playing almost like left winger, but that freedom to go and really drive forward, and he's causing all sorts of problems for Celtic.
Ball's back at the feet of Viliame. Sinisalo has been beaten 3 times tonight. Celtic have 1 goal of their own. Still leading in the tie by 4 goals to 3. It's on a knife edge, you'd have to say, as LASK look for the equaliser in the tie. It's Bogarda coming forward, nice ball, just too much on it for Lubicic, who puts his hands to his face and looks to the sky because he knows it was only a matter of inches in that for that being a perfect pass into his feet. But it will be a goal kick to Celtic. We've played 19 and a half minutes in this second period as Sinisalo comes under pressure, but he gets out to trusty left-hand side. Up towards who? He's beaten in the jump though by Tornik. It's going to come for Adeniran. Chests it down for Horvat, midway inside the Celtic half. Horvat, the captain. He's got Adeniran to his left. Still it's Horvat though inside the penalty area now. Tries to play a little cute pass, but McGregor read it, stepped in, but Celtic really can't get any distance on their clearances at the moment, although they might be able to pick up here through Bauer. Nods it down for Hatate, out to the left-hand side for Tinekti, gets on the ball for the first time, takes Celtic forward, up against Bayumba. If Celtic could get another goal, it might just be enough to get them over the line. I asked Martin O'Neill yesterday at the press conference whether one goal would do it for his side. Well, he didn't know. He wouldn't commit, and he was wise not to, because we've seen here they got the goal in front, but they've been pegged back by 3 of LASK's own, and there's only one goal in it now as Tinekti has it left-hand side, rolls it back to McGregor and back to the halfway line to Trusty. Decent possession this though for Celtic, just taking a little bit of the heat off themselves as Duran has it right-hand side, pressurised by Bello, but gets it back to McGregor, who finds Bauer through the legs of Andrade. Poor touch from who though, and Andrade battles back there and wins it and goes down and gets the free kick, and LASK will get themselves up the park once more.
It's poor from Hoot. It's really good play from Celtic, one touch passing movement, he has to get a hold of it, Casper Hoot.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths that he should be bringing to the side, that ability to hold the ball up and bring others into play. He's done it well so far, but not on that occasion. Ball's back with Lucas Ljungberg, the last goalkeeper. Now out to the left-hand side, it's Andrade. Back to the Brazilian centre-back, João Tornik. Back to Ljungberg once more. This time he goes long, looking for the ability there of Adeniran, but Carter Vickers, who's probably given away a couple of inches to Adeniran, times the jump beautifully and gets it clear. Again, LASK though pick up on the halfway line. Forward to Lubicic, out to the right-hand side for Jurgensen. And back with Bayumba here, just about 10 yards inside the Celtic half. 3-1 LASK in the night, 4-3 Celtic in aggregate. So much riding on this second leg of the Champions League playoff. Tens of millions of pounds at stake, the prestige of being at the very top table of European football. It's Lubicic, because LASK have never been there. Celtic have been there 13 times in the modern version of what once was the European Cup. Lubicic into the area, Carter Vickers again gets above Adeniran, brilliant jump, but it comes out to Andrade, goes for goal, speculative, comes to Horvat now, left-hand side is Bello at the byline, can he get it back into the area? Carter Vickers clear only as far as Horvat, goes for goal, oh, saved by Sinisalo. That's a really good stop from the Finn, that might well have been heading into the back of the net with the deflection, but Sinisalo dives to his right and pushes it round the post for a corner.
And a big deflection in it as well. Good save from Sinisalo, but they're really turning the screw here, LASK.
Just beyond the midway point in this second half. LASK within one goal of Celtic as Horvat swings the corner to the back post, and it comes in and it's just wide. Well, some of the LASK fans round about us were already celebrating. They felt sure that was going to creep in as Tornik rose at the back post. Sinisalo was just gazing and watching and hoping that it would bounce wide, and that's what it did, and it remains LASK 3, Celtic 1, 4-3 Celtic in aggregate.
Yeah, he gets up well. There's 2 of them at the back post there.
Long from Ljungberg, and flicked on by Adeniran, but only to Tierney. Goes back to Sinisalo, clears long up to the halfway line. Andrade gets his head to it, then Hatate does likewise, taken down by Bello just inside his own territory. Celtic will be continually looking at the clock now for the next 21 minutes as they try to see this one out. McGregor is going to go all the way back to Sinisalo from midway inside his own half. There's a good stop Sinisalo made a few minutes ago from the deflected effort from Horvat. Donovan's lost out there to Bogarde, who's had a good game, and he quickly takes the free kick as Donovan fouled him. Now it's Horvat, left-hand side, into the box it comes. Adeniran off the bar and off Sinisalo and cleared by Tierney. Oh my goodness, you don't get closer than that. And Celtic clear their lines, but wow, Adeniran off the underside of the bar. Sinisalo didn't know anything about it, comes off him. Tierney is there to sweep it away. Looks like he has hurt himself in the process and might need to be changed. There's a couple of Celtic players making the motion of substitution, and that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to get 2 changes as McCowan's going to come on for Bauer, and it looks like Scales for Tierney at left back. Celtic are being stretched here as they look to hold on to their 4-3 aggregate advantage, but my goodness, that was so close to the equaliser.
It was, again, another break down the left-hand side. He catches it well, Adeniran off the bar, hits Sinisalo. You think it's going to go in, and then even when Tierney gets to clear it, he's running towards his own goal. He's having to swivel and clear it out with his left foot.
And comes a long throw in from the right-hand side as LASK look for that 4th goal in the tie that would make it 4 each on aggregate. Tunekti doing a good defensive job there, and he's been fouled. And Uzor's furious. He's going to talk his way into the notebook here. Yeah, that's a yellow card for Moses Uzor for his dissent there. There'll be a free kick to Celtic and a welcome bit of respite here, James.
Yeah, I mean, they're under so much pressure here. LASK, you can see, have real belief they can go and win the game, or get the goals they need to win the tie. And they just keep piling on the pressure. A huge 20 minutes coming up for Celtic.
I mean, this is it's huge, as you say. I mean, it's almost impossible to really detail how important it is that they get through this, because it could define so much about their season.
Yeah, I think as well, when you're coming in with a 3-goal cushion, as much as straight away Martin O'Neill was urging caution, not to get too excited, and you knew they were going to be a tough team to play against.
Here's Hattati coming forward for Celtic, though. It's Who trying to slip it out to the right-hand side to Tunekti. Comes back to him now, it's Duran. Can Duran just ease the pressure by getting a goal for Celtic here and stretching their advantage to 2 goals once again? It's out to Donovan, right-hand side. Steps away from Bello, looking for options. There's not too many available to him. Duran picks up once more. The whistles from the home fans as Hattati's challenge flicked through, but Horvat in the way. Donovan's also asking to be changed now as well. He's hurt himself. They've only got 1 change left as Adeniran picks up, and LASK are very much in the ascendancy in this game, but they still trail by 4 goals to 3 on aggregate as in slides Donovan once more. And good battling there by Duran, but the referee says there's a problem, and Donovan's holding his right hamstring, and I think hopefully that's just cramp, but nonetheless he's going to have to be replaced, I think. You'd imagine that'll be the call for Anthony Ralston, but I mean, this is going to be tough for Celtic to hold out the way things are going, James.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're really piling on the pressure. LASK, they look fresh, full of running, and really asking questions of Celtic. And you're looking at Celtic, when they get the ball, they've not offered very much going forward this second half.
It's actually going to be Dane Murray to come on for Colby Donovan instead of Anthony Ralston. Not sure I've seen him play at right back, particularly Dane Murray, but he'll be asked to do so for the closing. Well, it's 16.5 minutes plus added on time. On he comes now to replace Donovan, who's again put so much into the game, but it's just taking its toll on those young legs. And hopefully that is just a touch of cramp there and nothing more. But LASK come once more. The free kick's taken. Who's back there to get the header clear out to the left-hand side? Tunekti will pick up. He's just giving it straight back to LASK, though. Celtic need to be better in possession if they're to see this game out. 3-1 they trail on the night. 4-3 they lead on aggregate. Can Celtic get through to the Champions League? It's back into the box from Horvat, away by Trusty, won by Bayumba out to the right hand side for Jurgensen, swings it back into the box, up goes Murray for his first touch and heads it clear only as far as Horvat, and now it's Bogard, flicks it back to Horvat once more, steps away from McCowan out to the left hand side, about 25 yards from goal, cross comes in, Carter Vickers stoops, hasn't got there, Adeniran trying to make something of it, feels sure he was fouled but referee doesn't think so. Last pick up once more, right hand side, looking to get the ball back in, it's a low ball in, Trustees gets it well out of play. Over on the far side, the scarves of the LASK fans swirl above their heads in the fashion that Hearts supporters tend to do back in Scotland, but well, this is a stern test of Celtic in the closing stages of this Champions League playoff. But if you want to get there, you've got to beat good teams, and that's certainly what LASK are, make no bones about that. As it comes back to Andrade here, clips in, Carter Vickers will head clear, who's only about 10 yards outside his own penalty area, and nips it back to McGregor. McCowan will go and chase this though on the right hand side, he'll get there first, or he should have done. Bayumba slides in, and he's given the throw into LASK, because Bayumba was right in his face claiming it wasn't. I don't think that was a LASK throw by any stretch.
It wasn't. I couldn't believe he even thought about it.
That looked like he was influenced by the player.
I mean, when he took his time, I can't believe he's given that as a throw-in to LASK. It was a good opportunity as well. McCowan was free down the right-hand side, and he slowed up a little bit. Wonder if he could have just got there and nicked it, because Bayumba was coming no matter what. He was full-blooded into the challenge. You take a hit there, take a foul, take the pressure off, but nonetheless, it should still have been a Celtic throw.
14 minutes to go. LASK 3, Celtic 1 on the night. 4-3 Celtic on aggregate as Hatate gets in the way of a forward pass and knocks it out of play. But it's been all LASK, particularly second half. First half was a much more even affair again, but LASK have come into their own as they try and find a goal that would potentially take this to extra time. Scales gets his head to a big cross-field diagonal and then is able to knock it forward, but he can't link with Chinekti, and LASK will pick up once more and come forward. It's clipped out to the left-hand side here for Andrade to come forward. Still no changes for the home side substitution-wise. Celtic have made all 5 of theirs, as Horvat thought he was being fouled by Murray, but the referee thought otherwise. He knocks the ball out of play, and it'll be a Celtic throw in this time.
Real aggression from Dane Murray. Tight to Horvat, stopping them from turning them. So influential to this last side. And you mentioned Murray coming on instead of Ralston. You can only look at the height, the cross balls that are coming in. He's certainly in there for that reason.
Yeah, it's still finely balanced this tie in the last 12 and a half minutes. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and on 5 Sports Extra 2 with myself and James McFadden in Linz. As Andrade plays it down the left wing for Bello. Bello with a crossing opportunity, cuts it back. Hatate's there to clear. McCowan can't gather, he goes down rather hopefully. Referee says you're getting nothing for that. Probably correctly. Here's Bogarda to the edge of the box. Lubicic plays that just behind. Horvat is behind for a Celtic goal kick. And another little breather for the visiting side, who are just clinging on just at the moment to the 4-3 aggregate advantage that they hold. But it has been a tough old evening for them here in northern Austria, as Sinisalo takes the goal kick long up towards Hu, puts enough pressure on Andrade for it to be a poor header. Then Tornik knocks it out of play. It'll be a Celtic throw-in midway inside the last half. They need to try and keep it up here for a decent period, as LASK look to make a first change of the evening. We've got a player down there getting readied as Dave Murray prepares to take the throw-in. He's getting the 5-second signal. Needs to get a move on here, Dane Murray. And it comes from the right-hand side up towards Hu. Tries to bring it under control, but he's under so much pressure he can only knock it back out of play. Throw in then to LASK, deep in their own territory. Bello flings it down the line up towards Adeniran. Working ever so hard, keeps hold of the ball and then plays it forward, looking to use the pace here of Uzor. Down goes Carter Vickers. and he'll buy the free kick. And now he's hurt himself, and Celtic don't have any more changes, so I can only hope this is something minor for Cameron Carter-Vickers. He's explaining what it is to the referee. I think it's just cramp, but he's going to have to see out the closing 10 minutes with or without cramp. As the free kick goes Celtic's way, and he gets a little energy capsule thrown his way to try and relieve the symptoms of cramp. As Shoop prepares to come on, James.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it from a Celtic point of view, obviously, but if you're LASK, you just keep turning that in behind, make him run. Such an important player for Celtic, Carter-Vickers, but looking at LASK, so physical up front, get it forward and put him under pressure. There's still plenty of time left in this game here.
Yeah, about 10 minutes plus stoppage time as Uzor chases one forward. Trusty's with him, just inside the penalty area, battling away the pair. Trusty goes down, the referee wags his finger. There'll just be a throw in here on the left-hand side, deep in Celtic territory. 3-1 they trail on the night as Shoot's going to come on here for Lubicic, who made it 2-1 on the night just at the start of the second half. It was maybe the pivotal goal right at the start of this second period, really lifted things for LASK. And on will come Alessandro Shoop for the last 10 minutes or thereabouts. Uzor's about to take the throw-in. That's another foul throw-in. I mean, how can you get away with that? Comes back to him, closed down by Duran, who hacks it out of play.
I mean, it's a small thing, right, but that is ridiculous.
I know.
It is ridiculous. It doesn't come behind his head. He's throwing it straight down into the ground. Why is this guy going through it?
I know, he can't even get the long ones particularly long. It's not bad, but Murray gets his head to it at the near post. Horvat keeps it alive. Bogarde sends it back out to Uzor, left-hand side at the byline. Swings it in near post, a good ball. Tornik so close to making contact at the near post, almost seemed to duck out the way of it. And it's cleared out the penalty area. Another let-off for Celtic as Uzor picks up again left-hand side and swings it in near post. This one's glanced over the top. Referee points for a Celtic goal kick. And, well, Tornik's asking for a VAR check. I don't think you get VAR checks for headers that he thinks should have been a corner. Anyway, LASK 3, Celtic 1, 4-3 Celtic on aggregate. 8 minutes of the 90 left to play. It's nerve-wracking stuff here, James.
Carter-Vickers is done. He keeps signalling that he's done with cramp. But as you said, subs have been used. He's going to have to dig in for the remainder of this match, because this pressure will continue from LASK. They'll keep getting it forward. They'll keep getting crosses in. And that chance there for Tornik, it looked to me as if he could easily have got his head on it. And if he does, it's more than likely a goal. A great run from him.
Bayumba forwards over the halfway line. Scales gets his head to it. Up goes Shoot, but can't bring it under control. McCowan forward. He can't keep a hold of it either. Horvat now back to Andrade and out to the left-hand side for Bello. If Celtic can come through this, it will have been an almighty effort.
Yeah.
It's a real test here this evening, as Martin O'Neill was at pains to point out it would be. Horvat here left-hand side. LASK looking for an equaliser in the closing stages here. Bogart's put too much on that, and that is well, exactly what Celtic are looking for. Gives them the goal kick and takes the impetus out the attack there for LASK as some more of these glucose capsules are thrown on for the benefit of Cameron Carter-Vickers. Goal kick taken up towards who? He can't flick it on though. It's Andrade who then sends it forward looking for Uzor at the edge of the penalty area. Up against Trusty here, right hand side. Waits for support, rolls it back here. It's Jurgensen going for goal and it's wide of target. And the LASK fans round about us, well, they're still hopeful, they're still optimistic, but they would like to see efforts like that hit the back of the net. Still LASK 3, Celtic 1, 4-3 Celtic lead on aggregate.
No, they've given it absolutely everything. LASK, they've given themselves a real good chance of progressing here, salvaging this tie, and they'll keep going. Casper Hou's got a big 5-6 minutes. He needs to try and get a hold of the ball. and take the pressure off.
Yeah, he's finding it difficult to do so, and LASK are going to come forward again. It's Usor right hand side, up towards the edge of the penalty area, in beyond Scales, flashes it into the near post. Hatate sticks out the left leg and knocks it behind for the corner. Not quite at last chance saloon stage just yet for LASK, but we're beginning to knock on the door. 5.5 to play. LASK leading by 3-1 on the night, but that won't be enough for them. They need another goal to take this to extra time. And if it got to that stage, you would fancy the home side. Can Celtic dig in? It's corner kick from the right hand side. McGregor at the near post to clear. Out to Horvat on that right flank. Back it comes to Bello. He's going to take a shot on here, I think. It's over the top. Well, he's ambitious. Good old 30 yards out there. And although Adeniran scored from that kind of distance, you tend to think that Celtic will be happy enough if they're going to try and test Sinisalo from that kind of range.
Yeah, you will, and especially when all the big guys are up, and probably better suited to just cutting that to the back post. Plenty of options in there.
Florian Flecker is going to come on for LASK to replace Jurgensen. Still got 3 more changes they can make if they wish. As Sinisalo prepares to take the goal kick. Celtic leading by a single goal now, having come into this second leg with a 3-goal cushion. It's down to 1 as Bogarde sends it long. Trusty's underneath it. The header comes to Hatate, and then Tunekti will pick up. And thought he might have been fouled there, but the referee decided it was a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And play continues with Bayumba in possession, just inside his own half. Well, the LASK fans have continued to stay behind their side all the way through. Can they find one last push to get the leveller? It's Horvat picking up to the left-hand side. Ball hits a big divot, but Bello can gather. Cuts it back, looking for Horvat, but McGregor was in the way, and then Hatate, it closes him down as well. And the ball's knocked out of play for a LASK throw-in on this near side.
They can't keep the pressure off Celtic. When they win it back, they're not keeping the ball, they're just giving it back. And LASK are allowed to then build their attacks once again, whether that's a direct ball in behind or down the sides and getting crosses into the box.
Throw-in taken back the way this time to Bogarde, and then back to Uzor, left-hand side. Crossing opportunity, not a bad ball in. Celtic struggling to get it clear. McGregor gets something on it. Then McCowan, but only finds a LASK player. It's directed towards goal, but wide a target, I think, from Andrade up from the back there, and he couldn't get that in between the sticks. And Sinisalo will have a free kick. Adeniran's trying to tell Sinisalo which ball to use for a goal kick here, as the Celtic goalkeeper just tries to take as much time as he's possibly allowed. And it will be goal kick here to Celtic. 3 minutes to play. They lead by 4 goals to 3 on aggregate. But this remains on a knife edge, with LASK doing all the pressing in this second half. Murray gets his head to the ball. It's going to fall here for Scales on the halfway line. Rolls it forward to Tunekti. He's well challenged though by Bayumba. LASK will come forward. Out to the left it comes to Horvat. Murray will try and close him down. Horvat into Adeniran, just lays it into the path of Bello. Bello, well challenged by McGregor at the angle of the box. McCowan will roll it forward. Doesn't give Hu a chance to get onto it though. Celtic need to be tidier. It's picked up here by Shoop. Angles it out to the right hand side. Headed back into the box, but Tunekti's there and it's out of play. Can Celtic cling on? 2 minutes of the 90 plus added on time, with a goal advantage in this tie. 4-3 up on aggregate.
I don't think Celtic completed 3 passes in the last 15 minutes or so. So panicky, so rushed.
Usor with the throw in here on the right hand side. Looks to get it into the penalty area, and it comes. Scales rises and gets his head to it. Hatate will just fire it out of play over on the far side. Anywhere will do just at the moment for Celtic. A minute and a half left of the original 90. All eyes will be on the 4th official to see how much is going to be added. The Celtic fans away over on our far side, surely biting the nails down to the quick as Horvat gets away from Duran. Now it's Bello left hand side. Duran slides in, knocks it behind for a corner. We're into just about the final minute. That's us in now, and well, Youngworth is not going to come up from the back for this one, but everyone else is more or less inside that Celtic penalty area. As LASK look for the leveller and Celtic try to keep them out. It's Horvat, it's a deep ball to the back post, and Andrade gets something on it, and Tornick can't turn it towards goal, and Who just batters it out of play here on this near side. Time is against the home side. Celtic within minutes now of that elusive Champions League stage place. It's picked up here on the right hand side by Flecker. Now it's Andrade over on the right flank. The centre back goes back the way to Bogarde. He's got Uzor here in plenty of space, then out to Horvat, left hand side, needs a good ball, finds Bello on the byline. Can he pick out a teammate? The header comes in, what a save, but it's in on the rebound. LASK have got a last gasp equaliser. It's an incredible save from Sinisalo, but on the rebound LASK have knocked it in. There's some suggestions there might be an offside. The flag hasn't gone up, Celtic claiming for it. Well, Celtic can only hope and pray now that they're going to be saved by a VAR decision, because it looks otherwise that LASK have got that equaliser. Is it going to be LASK 4, Celtic 1 and 4 all on aggregate? All eyes on the referee now. Scott Brown, I don't know if you've got any inkling as to whether this is going to be a goal or not.
It's very, very close, but Dane Murray possibly playing him on, or Taneki can't. It's not came back for a good enough side view for us, so it's going to go to VAR, I think.
Yeah, VAR having a check of it right now. This entire stadium is on tenterhooks here, holding its collective breath as we await the referee's signal here. Is it going to be a goal to LASK? Is it going to be offside? Oh, he points to the centre spot, and it's 4-1 LASK on the night. It's 4 all in aggregate. We are facing extra time here. That is a quite incredible turn of events. As Flecker on the rebound after Sinisalo produced an incredible save from the initial header, but he could do nothing about the rebound, and after the VAR check, it's a goal. And Celtic now coming forward, looking to get themselves back in front, but Scales' cross is straight into the arms of the keeper. Actually, it's out for a throw over on the far side. Incredible stuff here, James.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. I mean, the save from Sinisalo is quite remarkable. It's an outstanding save, but everyone's just standing watching it. No one in the Celtic jersey reacts to the ball dropping down. And yet, look, you have to say, LASK have deserved that. They've put the pressure on.
They might well want to win it here in regulation time or in added on time, because it's Uzor into the penalty area, right hand side, stands up for a Deniran, great header away by Dane Murray. But Deniran stays down. LASK come again though, it's Uzor. Deniran needs to get himself back up. Scales gets his head to the ball, comes out to Andrade. Casper Who gets a touch of the ball, now Durant. He'll just be fended off there. That'll be a yellow card for Tornick. He doesn't care too much about that because he prevented the breakaway. And well, it's just been quite incredible here inside the Oberösterreich Arena. An incredible comeback for Celtic, against Celtic for LASK. Looks like it's going to take this tie into extra time, and Celtic, having made all their changes, will get one more in extra time, but they're out on their feet to some extent, and you fear for them.
Yeah, and a lot of it, the pressure that's built, yes, credit LASK because they haven't given in, but Celtic have created problems for themselves. They haven't managed to keep the ball. The subs that have come on haven't had any kind of impact, and you're right, they look as if they're out on their feet. They're going and pushing forward now, and that would leave the door open for a team that has the forward momentum in LASK.
Sinisalo clears, beaten 4 times on the night. Callum McGregor's goal seems a long time ago. Here's Duran though, Celtic can still win this. There's Duran hitting the byline, into the penalty area he comes. Can he find a teammate? It's stabbed away at the near post before Who can get there, but it will be a Celtic corner. Didn't see in the end how much the 4th official added on for additional time, but we're deep into it now. We've played over 4 minutes of it. Celtic with a chance here from the corner kick. Can they snatch this at the death? Can this game get even more dramatic before the final whistle goes? It's going to be McCowan from the corner kick from the right-hand side, left-footed. Can he silence this last crowd once and for all? And it comes from McCowan. Deep one to the back post. Up goes Murray. Cross goal, and Adeniran just dumps it into touch. And it will be... I think the referee's given a free kick. Is it offside, is it? I'm not sure quite how it was offside, but anyway, it is a free kick to LASK inside their own penalty area. Deep into added on time, but we are facing another 30 minutes here. And, well, it's been the most incredible evening. And Celtic, from a position of such authority and command on the night, are in a real tight spot now. LASK coming from 4 goals down on aggregate to level it at 4 each as Hatate knocks the ball out of play, trying to find Tenenti but getting too much on it. And well, what an evening it has been in Linz, as the Austrian champions have given themselves a real chance of getting into the Champions League stage, as the final whistle goes to bring an end to a quite outstanding 90+ minutes of football. It seemed to all be going Celtic's way. A quarter of the game gone, and Callum McGregor put Celtic 4 goals to the good in the tie, rifling in after Yang had set him up, courtesy of a deflection, and Celtic led by 4-0. But then the downfall began as Nugren's back pass just after a half hour was straight to Uzor, who calmly scored past Sinisalo. There was 1 apiece at the break, 4-1 still to Celtic, but an early second half goal from Lubicic from the edge of the box really started to sound the alarm bells for Celtic. That made it 2-1 in the night, and then it was 3-1 just before the hour. Adeniran culling in a beautiful strike from 20 odd yards out to bring LASK to within 1 goal of Celtic. But just as it looked as though they would hold out the Scottish champions in injury time, the header from Florian Flecker on the rebound after a terrific save from Sinisalo, but he could do nothing about Flecker's rebound, and after a VAR check it was ruled onside. The goal stood, and that is why this game has finished at the end of 90 minutes at least. LASK 4, Celtic 1, but it's 4-all in aggregate.
In the UEFA Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra 2 with me, Andy Burke. The end of 90 minutes. LASK 4, Celtic 1, 4-all in aggregate. We are heading for extra time. We'll rejoin Alistair Lamont and James McFadden in the stadium shortly. Scott Brown and Tom English are alongside me in the studio. Scott, it looked as if Celtic were just about to hold out, but that is an absolute sickener at the death there.
Yeah, it's a hard goal to lose, and look, it's inches. Dane Murray just managed not to step up in time, and he's went out to go and deal with the cross as well. And look, it's a fantastic save by Sinisalo, and not one Celtic player has fallen up there. So I think that's a slight problem. Celtic look a bit tired now, look dead on their feet. They do get another sub. I don't know if Carter Vickers is going to manage to play on, because the last 10 minutes he's been playing through cramp, and every opportunity he makes he is struggling.
Yeah, Tom, as all the guys have said, Celtic look out on their feet. As things stand, there only looks to be one winner here.
Yeah, they look jaded, they look gone. LASK look full of running, full of threat. They've had 33 shots in this game to Celtic 6, and 21 of those shots have been inside Celtic's box. They are a very, very good team. I think they deserve to take this to extra time. Over the two legs, they've had 53 shots on goal. It's about 20 more or 30 more than Celtic have had. If you say they're the better team and they're actually more deserving of going through to the Champions League proper than Celtic are, Celtic have got the lifeline of extra time, but they look a tired team.
How does Celtic find something here, Scott?
They've got to defend better. They've got to stop crosses and stop shots, because, as Tom says, look, those stats aren't great. Going away from home, it was never going to be easy. Everybody knew that, but obviously Callum McGregor goal, it seems forever ago.
Yeah, 4-0 up in the time.
Put them in a fantastic position, and then one small bit of momentum, Negrin's back pass gives them that little bit of life and that little bit of hope, and that's what they've managed to hold on to.
Well, can Celtic find some life and some hope? It is looking very difficult at the moment, but they're still in this extra time, 4-4 on aggregate. Let's get back to the stadium and joins James McFadden and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Andy. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but Celtic have found themselves in a sticky situation before and emerged victorious, so let's see if they can do that once again. But if they could pull this off, it would be something quite special. But you could say the same for the last comeback. They're about to kick us back off through their captain, Sasha Horvat, who's been a massive player in this second leg for them. It's really just dictated proceedings, as James was saying, pulled out to the left-hand side more in the second half and really found a lot of space, and balls into the box have caused problems, and he's given the go-ahead to get us back underway in this first period of extra time in the Champions League playoff second leg, which stands poised at the start of extra time at 4 apiece between LASK and Celtic. Live with us here on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra 2. Which of these teams will emerge with a place in the Champions League? Celtic looking to come forward. Tinekti was waiting on it, and in steps Flecker, the man who got that crucial equaliser. Hattati now out to the left-hand side. Can Celtic find some energy from somewhere? Hattati out to Tinekti. Tinekti with the cross in from the left-hand side. It's a good ball, but it's headed away by Andrade. Poor touch though from Shoop, but McGregor can't make anything of it, and his touch just takes it behind for a goal kick to LASK. How do you think LASK now approach this? Because they're not going to be throwing everything at it anymore, are they, James? Are they going to have to be a little bit more canny themselves?
Yeah, possibly, but I think that when you look at how they play, they only seem to have that one way, and it's get the ball forward and get crosses into the box. The difference being Celtic aren't just sitting back now defending. Celtic are actually going attacking, so they're going to have to do a little bit more defending. I expect them to continue to get the ball forward and ask questions of Celtic defensively. And that cross just a minute ago from Tinekti, who's on his heels at the back post. If he goes and gambles, a really good cross.
Here's Bello into the penalty area, left-hand side into the middle. It comes the cross, but Trusty gets it clear, just to confirm that Anthony Ralston's come on in extra time for Cameron Carter-Vickers. He's playing it right back now, is Ralston, and Dane Murray's moved into centre back alongside Austin Trusty. And so Celtic have now once again made all possible changes, 6 in total, as LASK get the throw-in over on the far side. Midway inside the Celtic half, 4 apiece on aggregate as Tornic touches it back here for Shoop. And it's Horvat just outside the penalty area, looking up, looking for options. McCowan trying to get close to him, played forward there by Flecker, who's continued his run. Hattati though sticks out a foot and just gets in the way, and then Trusty can complete the clearance. Forward it goes, but no chance for McCowan to get onto that. And it's back now with Lucas Ljungvert, and now Andrade just inside his own half. 4-1 on the night, LASK lead. They've clawed back that 3-0 first leg advantage that Celtic held. Out with Flecker and back to Horvat on the right hand side now. Little captain popping up everywhere. Here he is once again, gets it back from Bogarden, steps forward once more, rolls it back to Bogarde again in the heart of the midfield, clips out to the left hand side for Andrade, and then back with Tornic. Everyone inside the Celtic half barring the keeper. Here's Shoop, short little ball to Horvat at the edge of the area. Out to the right hand side it comes to Flecker. Flecker back to Horvat once more on the angle of the box. Swings in a decent looking ball. Scales is up there first. Bogarde's first 2 ahead of Tornic. And then it's Andrade, tries a shot at goal. Then the spectacular overhead from Uzor's not too far away. It just fell for him and he thought, well, why not? I'm going to go for it. And the overhead kick flies just wide of Sinisalo's right-hand post. And it remains LASK 4, Celtic 1, 4 apiece in aggregate.
Oh, you asked what was going to be different. They're certainly not going forward as quick. They're building themselves into a good position in and around the Celtic box and waiting for that moment to get the cross in. Almost spectacular there from Musso, but it's always difficult. The way that he's hit it is normally suited for a right footer on that occasion.
Here's Tenecti, left-hand side for Celtic on the attack, looking to try and get beyond Flecker, but the little shimmy doesn't fool the wing-back, and he gets it up now to Uzor. Back goes McGregor, Trusty getting in his way though, and it's won by Shoop, and it breaks for Adeniran. Adeniran up towards the penalty area. The offside flag goes up now, just when it looked like he might have been in on goal, but Trusty not doing McGregor any favours there. Fortunately, Celtic at the offside flag, and here they come once more through Duran. We've played 4.5 minutes of extra time, 4 apiece in the tie, as Hatate has it, plays a little ball through the middle, but McCowan can't latch onto it. It's played forward, but Murray chests it down and then plays it square to Trusty into the centre circle for McGregor. McGregor for Hatate now, spins and plays it out to his left for Scales. Celtic enjoying more of the ball at the start of this extra time period than they did on almost all of the second half, but again Tenecti can't find a way through, and it's picked off by Bayumba. Fed forward by Flecker. Uzor with the touch, can he keep it in play? No, he can't. A little bit of a tired touch maybe there for Uzor, and there's going to be a couple of changes, including Miguel Freckleton, who starred in St Mirren's League Cup victory over Celtic last season. He'll be looking to play his part in another triumph over them if LASK can complete the job here. He and Danek are about to come on in the first half of extra time. Here's McGregor for Scales. Scales in an advanced area, out to the left-hand side for Tenecti. Left of the penalty area, onto the right foot. Cross can't beat Bayumba at the near post. McGregor will pick up once more though. Celtic still in this tie. Can still win it. They just have to believe and just have to dig. Here's McCowan now, advancing, heavy touch. Tornick makes the challenge and then slides it for Shoop. And then back to Flecker, who goes long, but a poor pass, and it'll be picked up by Trusty. And then Murray plays it out to his right to Ralston. Ralston into the last half. Back the way he goes to Murray. 6 minutes gone in extra time. Still it remains 4 each on aggregate. Here's Scales now. Back the way to Hatate. McGregor midway inside the last half, looking for options. The Celtic captain clips out to the left-hand side for Tenecti once more. Could have got the cross in there, but comes and tries and beats Flecker again. He has done that. He's into the penalty area. Then he tries to find McCowan, but in slid Bogard it to knock it behind for a corner. But it's a more promising start to the first half of extra time than certainly the second half of normal time was, James.
Yeah, better from Tenecti. He's offered very little since coming on. They get a chance there to get free. You have to say it was actually pretty well defended. Bogard getting back in down the line of the cross.
There's a LASK player down inside the penalty area as the changes are about to be made. Looked like Tornick was the player who was going to come off, I guess, for Freckleton at the back. And Celtic are going to have a corner kick once this treatment is finished. And there's a slight bit of confusion in the dugout down there as to whether Dietmar Kublaier is still going to make the same 2 changes as he was planning, as the player here being helped off. So it's going to be Freckleton coming on for Horvat and Danek for Tornick. But they might be forced into a third change. In fact, maybe there's going to be another 2. Dibango and Lang are also going to come on here, so looks like going to make 4 changes.
It's just what you need, Al, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But at least are they doing 2 and 2, or are they just going to throw them all on it at once? Lang and Dibango are ready to come on, but I'm not not sure.
Flecker can back off as well then, I'm pretty sure. That was the one that was down.
He was the player who was down in the penalty area. Well, it's no bad thing for Celtic that Horvat has gone off. Listen to the fans singing his name as he makes his way around the touchline. He has been instrumental there. And yeah, I think these further two changes are going to be made now as well. Uzor is coming to the touchline. I mean, the board's not gone up. I mean, such a delay for the changes. So yeah, Lang's going to come on for Flecker. So Flecker, having got the equaliser, has been forced off, and Debango is also going to come on here. He's the final player to make way. The fourth official still seems confused. I mean, it's a bit of a palaver to say the least. You know, on he comes, and they don't bother showing the board, so I'm none the wiser. So anyway, Celtic have got the corner kick here on the left-hand side. 4 changes made there by LASK. That's then made their full 6 as well, as Tinekti stands over this corner. Celtic looking to get themselves back in front. It's glanced on at the near post, but half cleared by Lang. Comes back into the box. This time Andrade knocks it forward, up towards Lang, who's going to be playing up front alongside Danek, more or less. Adeniran's still on the pitch though. And here's Ivango. I wonder if that flurry of changes will just affect LASK in a slightly negative way. Certainly the removal of Horvat, you can't imagine is going to help them, albeit it was probably tiring somewhat. Still 4 each then on aggregate as Celtic come forward on the left-hand side. They've certainly done more attacking in the 10 minutes in this extra time than they did in the entirety of the second half, as Hatate plays it back down the left-hand side. LASK won't want the momentum to swing back in Celtic's favour.
Well, the problem they have is they get it in the wide area, it's Tinekti, and you're looking for him to try and get half a yard to get across into the box, but it's only Casper who is the target in there. McCowan's playing more advanced, Hatate's in more alongside McGregor, and Duran isn't really getting in from that wide area when it comes down the left-hand side. So they invariably then don't put it in and come out the other side.
Looks like they've gone to Freckleton gets a foot in there, but Duran steps forward, he takes a shot. Debango unconvincing with his initial attempt at controlling the ball, but eventually gets it, plays it forward to Boyumba. But you can see that Kubar down there, the manager, is not happy. A wonderful chest pass there from McGregor to McCowan. Back out to the left-hand side for Tinekti. Extra time's been pretty decent for Celtic so far. McCowan back out to Tinekti. Still 4 apiece on aggregate here. Scales finds McCowan. It's an awkward one to take and an awkward pass from him, but then Boyumba just hacks it out of play. And they're certainly not playing as well as they were playing in this in the second half here. LASK, as Scales takes the throw into Hatate. The manager is going absolutely berserk down there. He can't believe that the marking is so slack, and I think that partly down to the changes that have been made, not helping LASK one bit. Latter stages then of the first half of extra time, 2.5 to play. And Celtic looking more settled on the ball as Hatate gets turned midway inside the LASK half. Plays it square here for Ralston. Ralston out to the right to Duran. About 10 yards from the byline, up against Bello. Looking to get it back onto the left foot. Back to Ralston. Poor touch from him. And Bogarde will pick up and try and counter. Plays it forward. It's not a good ball from him though. And Trusty will be able to gather that one in. Forward it comes again. McCowan for Hatate, and then back to McCowan. Out steps Freckleton, gets just enough on that, and then McCowan clips Bello, and that'll be a yellow card for McCowan for his troubles there. And a free kick goes LASK's way. Casper, who I can't remember him touching the ball, certainly in extra time, but not really much in the second half either.
No, I mean the second half was about defending and siege defending at times. Casper, who very little service, and he's had nothing in this period of extra time.
Here's Durant. Well, I was going to say still fully running, but he's been held up because has his boot come off in that challenge there.
Yep.
And it will be a free kick to Celtic. No real chances in extra time as such. With just about 90 seconds remaining in this period. Plus, well, I'm going to say there might be a bit of added on time. They're not supposed to add time on for the substitutions, but they took such a lengthy period over that. There might well be, as McGregor gets lucky there. He looked like he'd given the ball away. Now he gets it to McCowan. Then he almost got it square to Scales. The referee got in the way, but LASK get the benefit of the decision. Forward they come, and it's Lang slipping that through, looking to release the Bango on the right hand side. That's intercepted, but now it's Bello. Looks like he fancies chances once more. He swings it to the back post instead. The Bango with the header down. Scales gets it cleared. The Bango returns it into the box. It will come here for Bayumba. Trusty in the way of that one. That looked on target, but for Trusty's intervention. And then Bogard is penalised for his challenge on McCowan just outside the penalty area, and it'll be a free kick for Celtic, which are taking quickly into the final minute of the opening 15 of extra time. Still it's LASK 4, Celtic 1 on the night, 4-all at aggregate.
I suppose that's the difference, and it's something we spoke about coming into the game, that Celtic look dangerous going forward and they look like they're going to score goals, but they haven't really in this game. Particularly from second half starting this period extra time, they've been much better with the ball. They've had more control, but then LASK go and get the ball, go forward, look dangerous. You feel that they're going to have a chance to score, and Celtic haven't had that opportunity yet.
A couple of minutes added on actually at the end of extra times. The ball's played through for who at the edge of the box, chase it down. Now it's Hatate out to Duran, right hand side. Up against Bello, takes him to the byline, tries to get it across goal. It's going to be a Celtic corner. Bello says not, and the referee says I'll check that with my VAR colleague, shall I? And we'll see if that still stands. It looks like it will though. McCowan's going to go out and take. Oh, he's changed his mind. Bello was right enough, and VAR say no corner. The goal kick, one of the law changes that was brought in for the World Cup and continuing in UEFA competition, albeit not in Scotland.
I thought Hatate should take the shot on.
Yeah.
Trusty played a lovely ball through to Casper who's not moving particularly well, you have to say. But he lays it off to Hatate. I thought he was just going to have a shot. He's in the middle of the goal, he's about 20 yards out, opts to play it wide. The better serve taking a shot on there. Casper who's really struggling.
Yeah, he's trying to stretch off, isn't he? Any opportunity he gets, but certainly not moving freely as LASK get it forwards up towards Adeniran. Murray wins it above him, but it's going to be picked up by Danek. He goes down in the challenge from Scales, who in turn goes down under the challenge from Adeniran, and that one is rightly penalised at the edge of the Celtic box, and Celtic get the free kick. The home fans don't like it, but I think the referee got both of those decisions right.
Yeah, probably. Adeniran's still causing problems, that physicality. He just times it brilliantly. He's running, he gets a little nudge in defenders and causing them all sorts of problems.
Just a few seconds left of added on time at the end of this first half of extra time. In fact, that'll do, says Polish referee Simon Marciniak. And so it's as you were at the start of extra time as the first half comes to a close. It's LASK 4, Celtic 4 on aggregate.
Nerve-shredding stuff here. Celtic managing Scott Brown just to steady the ship a little bit, because going into extra time we thought they are out on their feet.
Yeah, definitely, and look, it's a swing of momentum a little bit, because now Celtic have got nothing to lose. They need to go out, they need to make sure they keep that back door closed, but they need to have opportunities, and like as James and Al were saying, they've not worked the goalie enough coming away from home. Now Casper, who looks like he's struggling as well, so it's going to be even harder defending now.
Are they going to have 5 players capable of walking up to hit these penalties if it gets that far, Tom? They're dropping like flies, the Celtic players.
Well, if it does come to that, I hope they hit him better than they hit him 12 months ago against Kairat. It's just inconceivable to me that we could be heading to a penalty shootout after being 4-0 up. But as we said, this is a very, very good side. And to be honest, I think on the balance of play over the two games, Kairat and Matty are better too.
LASK.
Sorry, LASK.
You're going back in time. I know there's similarities, but
my brain is frazzled. My brain is frazzled. I'd say there's an awful lot of Celtic brains out there that are frazzled, Scott.
Yeah, it has been a hard watch, and everybody knew, Martin knew, that they're a good team because we've seen how good they were at Celtic Park. They created a lot of chances. The amount of shots they've had in this game is ridiculous. But now the Celtic got to work really hard in defending.
What you're saying now, Scott, you're saying we're not really cutting them open. Why not have a crack from range? Just try something a little bit different.
Yeah, look, the ball got clipped with Scales up to who, and I do think Hatate should have had a shot, but he's taken it the easy option going out to Duran. And look, I'd like to see Taneki going the line and actually making a difference, because every time he's been on this 1v1, he's cut inside on his right foot. And look, I know he's not left-footed, but chop the line, test the defender in a different area, and get a corner, maybe a deflection, and it goes in the net. Look at Callum had a shot for 25 yards and get that little bit of luck, and I think Celtic need that little bit of luck now.
LASK 4, Celtic 1, 4-4 in aggregate. We're heading into the second period of extra time. Let's head back to the stadium and join James McFadden and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks, Andy. Just underway. McKeown rolls it back to Callum McGregor. Well, if they can somehow find a way to successfully navigate this path now. It's been extremely rocky for much of the evening, but that would all be forgotten in the midst of time. If Celtic can get through and get themselves into the Champions League, no one will be looking back, particularly in caring about how it came about. But Ralston's given the ball away, and it's Shoop coming forward, and he's got Freckleton on the overlap. It's Freckleton into the box. Murray just scrambles it behind for a corner kick, and LASK coming forward in the early stages of this second half of extra time.
Yeah, just a slack moment there from Ralston. They thought McCowan was going to offer up the line. He just plays a blind pass almost. McCowan made the move inside, allows LASK to go and build a bit of pressure once again, and same as the start of the second half, Al, they're now shooting into their fans that haven't stopped singing all night.
Yeah, well, that definitely seemed to make a difference to them in the second half of normal time. So let's see what the impact is in extra time. As they have this corner from the left-hand side, swung in towards the back post. Up goes Trusty, a good commanding header from him. They'll be chased down though by Debango, right-hand side. Just knocks it back to Bello. He'll play it square to Bogarde inside the centre circle. Back out to the right flank this time. Quickly taken down by Lang, and then back to Debango. He swings it in, but it's cleared by Scales this time. 15 minutes and a bit less maybe now to navigate for LASK and Celtic, who is going to end up the team with the joy of reaching the Champions League. Here's Lang, left-hand side, trying to step away from Ralston, who sticks with him. He gets the pass into Shoop, back the way to Bogarde, back out to the left for Freckleton, former St Mirren man. Low ball in, dealt with by Murray. He gets it clear up to the edge of the centre circle. It's recycled. Andrade now with the captain's armband, swings it back in. It looks like it's an offside there, might even be a handball as well, but the flag goes up over on the far side to stop Danek, and it will be a free kick to Celtic inside their own penalty area. 2 minutes gone in the second half of extra time. It's still LASK 4, Celtic 4 in aggregate.
Casper, who hasn't been able to shake off what's been bothering him. He's not moving particularly well. He's been penalised for a handball there as well, just to add insult to injury. And LASK get the free kick on the halfway line. Here's Bello, little wing back on the left-hand side for LASK of Linz. Here's Freckleton now, midway inside Celtic territory. Turn there on the edge of the box. Good tackling back there from McCowan to stop Lang in his tracks, but Celtic have given it away. A Deneran from the edge of the box. Goal! LASK are in front in this tie for the first time. Another fabulous strike from range from Samuel Adeniran, this time a low effort, and again Sinisalo couldn't get there. Right in the bottom corner, and incredibly this tie has been turned totally on its head. From 4-0 down on aggregate, it is now LASK 5, Celtic 4 over the course of the tie. Well, you could see they were building momentum once again at the start of this period extra time. Luke McCowan does so well initially to win the ball back, and when he's driving forward he takes far too long, too many touches. Adeniran with a strike from distance once again. Sinisalo scrambling down his right hand side but can't keep it out, and LASK, you feel that the momentum was with them. It's been an incredible performance from them, helped at times by Celtic, but you still have to take their chances when they come, and they have been clinical.
Yeah, they have. In the end, it looked like their profligacy was going to really hurt them for maybe the first game and a half of this tie, but ultimately they have found their shooting boots, and incredibly they are 5-4 up. But here they come again. It's Lang, well challenged by Hatate. Can Celtic pick themselves up off the canvas and get back and at least force penalties? They might even accept that coin toss for this stage, James.
Absolutely, definitely would, but yeah, it's a big ask for Celtic to get back into this game, because LASK have shown they're a good side. They will still go forward. They've brought forward players on to go and win the game, and Celtic haven't offered enough in an attacking sense to cause them any problems since the first half.
LASK picking up possession in the middle of the park. Andrade on the halfway line feeds it forward. Adeniran's on a hat-trick, but he won't catch that one. Do you fault Sinisalo for any of those goals that have gone in from distance?
It's tough because you can't see exactly where they are or how he's moved. We're getting to see it one time, no replay. I think you would normally you would say you can see a wonder strike. I think Adeniran's one that he side foots. It's a lovely finish, but I don't know. I would have to see it back, Al, to tell you whether I feel that Sinisalo could do better.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, from at first glance, most of them seem to be seems to be diving full out. So you feel that they're well-placed shots, but the guys they'll get replays. They can review that back in the studio. But Celtic are looking for their own turnaround in this tie now. 3-0 up from the first leg, 4-0 up on aggregate midway through the first half in this leg, and somehow they've relinquished that into extra time at 4-1 down on the night, and now 5-1 down on the night to be 5-4 down on aggregate. Can they just find the bit of energy, the bit of class that might bring them a goal back and at least force penalties? McGregor goes down, he was stretching, he stayed down, and he's stretching off his leg as it's going to be, well, the referee's just waving the last player to his feet as well. McGregor's back up as well, so Celtic can come forward on the counter. It's played back into McGregor, who's been tireless as usual. Hatate now into Ralston, midway inside the last half, out to the right-hand side. Both Sean Maloney and Martin O'Neill now out at the edge of their technical area, trying to urge their side on. Behind for a Celtic corner. Well, set pieces probably as likely as anything to lead to the moment they require midway through this second half of extra time. They need a goal, Celtic, to force penalties. Corner kick from the right-hand side, some sort of missile thrown down at Luke McCowan there, as he's about to take this corner kick from the right-hand side, left-footed. McCowan just needs the quality on it. It's a good looking deliveries, glanced on by a LASK player, back into the 6-yard box. Celtic can't turn it goalwards. High in the air from Bogarde, and then out at the penalty area it comes. It's Tenekti picking up left-hand side, looking to get the cross back in. It's Andrade with a header clear. LASK now on the defensive, trying to make sure that they keep the lead that they've somehow managed to engineer here. Again, McCowan's cross is well dealt with, and Shoop will just knock it back to Freckleton here. Freckleton somehow gets that forward to Adeniran, and now they're one-on-one here, and it's away from Hatate. There's an opportunity here, back goes Murray, and it could be a penalty. It is. Hatate penalised for the challenge as Danik drove through the middle, and as Murray tried to get back at him. Hatasi just stuck the leg out, down went Danek, and the referee points to the spot. And this could be the death knell for Celtic's Champions League hopes if this one is scored.
I thought he was looking for it, Danek. I think he leaves the leg dangling.
Yeah, well, it will be checked by the Dutch VAR official Paul van Boekel, but Samuel Adeniran here looks like he's going to be given the opportunity from the spot to clinch his hat-trick and perhaps clinch LASK's place in the Champions League stage and complete Celtic's misery on the night. Looks like it's been confirmed, so Adeniran left-footed will step up here against Sinisalo. This could be the tie right here. It's Samuel Adeniran, saved by Sinisalo, great save, and then who completes the clearance, and Celtic somehow are still alive in the tie.
Yeah, somehow it's a brilliant save from Sinisalo. Goes for power, tries to get it across, whips it back across. I don't know how close to the corner it was, but this could be a huge moment.
Corner kick on the left-hand side now for LASK, who've just passed up an absolutely massive opportunity to put this tie beyond Celtic. Still they'll have the opportunity here to put the pressure on the Celtic goal, looking for a 6th goal on the night. Corner kick from the left-hand side here after Adeniran's missed penalty, saved by Sinisalo. It's played back to Bogarde into the box now. Still there might be a chance on. It's Shoop out to the left-hand side, then swung in to the back post. Freckleton climbs away by Murray. Bello returns it. McGregor gets out of the box. Bango knocks it back into the edge of the penalty area. Who's back there, being closed down. He's done really well there, Casper, who, considering how badly he's been struggling with something of an injury, he's really toiling here as he tries to get himself up. But Celtic coming forward down the left-hand side. It's Tunekti for Scales, back with Tunekti. Casper, who trying to join in once again. Cannot fault the effort of these Celtic players, but at the moment it looks like it's not going to be enough unless there is further drama in the final 3.5 minutes here. They trail by 5-4 on aggregate in extra time, which is almost at an end. It's Trusty in possession for Celtic. The LASK fans, well, have gone from being hopeful and optimistic at the start of this game to being on the brink of the biggest celebration probably in the club's history, and never been in the latter stages in the competition proper of the Champions League or indeed the European Cup back in the day. Celtic have certainly been there, but they are on the brink of a 6th successive failure in Champions League qualification. It's quite incredible. We know about the one from Kairat Almaty, but they're about to add to that once again. They've lost to AEK Athens, Cluj, Ferencvaros and Midtjylland in previous years since they last got there by beating Astana in 2018. Of course, they've been there automatically since then, but in terms of getting beyond this stage, that's where they've faltered. The McCowan's given it away in a bad area, and now forwards come LASK once more. It's Lang into the box, just took too long, couldn't get the shot away, but it's going to break to Bogarde, who tried to find the top corner, but he's got that all wrong, and it's well over the top. It'll be a Celtic goal kick. We've got, 2 minutes left of regulation time and extra time, plus any added on time, but it's very much looking like Celtic are going to come up short once again unless they can find something special in these closing minutes. It's Duran midway inside the last half, right hand side, trying to spin away here from Lang, plays it square for Scales. Is there a hero for Celtic? It's Tunekti left hand side, into the penalty area it comes, away by Andrade, picked up by McGregor. Celtic just want one more chance, one decent opportunity to fall their way, to force penalty kicks. You wouldn't put it past this tie to have something else to offer. As Ralston plays it forward, it's a hopeful ball for McCowan. Freckleton just sees him off. Good strength from him, and he'll just pull away now from Ralston as well, and forward he comes down the left-hand side for Bello. Bello, wing back. Does he take it to the corner here? Yeah, he's just heading for the corner as he runs down the clock. Who'd have thought LASK would be running down the clock at any stage in this tie? It's Freckleton now, though, into Schupp, inside the penalty area. Can he find room for the shot? He goes back the way instead. LASK just holding on to possession here. Out to the left-hand side for Bello once more. Forward it comes for Danek, who won the penalty that was subsequently missed by Adeniran. Ralston's got a break there. It's come back off Danek, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Celtic need it up the other end. 20 seconds of extra time left to play, plus added on time. The fourth official stands poised with the boards. Celtic need a goal from somewhere to force penalties here, or else they are out of the Champions League at the playoff stage, and it will be Europa League football. We've got 1 minute of added on time, which we are just stepping into now. 60 seconds for Celtic to find the goals. McCowan plays it out to the left-hand side. He claims it took a touch on its way out, but the referee says no. It's thrown to LASK out on the far side. Looked to me like it took a touch.
Yeah, I thought it did as well.
Celtic not getting the benefit of that decision. The referee counting LASK down with his throw-in. Down the right it comes. Scales gets his head to it. Hatate onto McCowan, but again given back to LASK. Andrade now has it. All they need to do is hold on to possession for the final 20-odd seconds. LASK are on the brink of one of the most famous comebacks in European football as Freckleton comes into the penalty area, past a couple of men to the back post, and they can't squeeze it in, and still Celtic just about alive in the tie, but they've only got a matter of seconds to get the ball forward. It's Liam Scales, he just needs to launch it. Instead he plays it short to Tenecte, who's out-muscled, and the referee blows the final whistle, and Celtic are out of the Champions League. They have blown not only the 3-goal lead that they brought here from the first leg, they have blown a 4-goal lead in the tie after Callum McGregor put them 1 up on the night after 22 minutes of this tie, but somehow they have shipped 5 goals over the course of the 120 minutes. It is an infamous night in Celtic's European history. They are out on their feet on the turf there. They cannot believe what has happened to them. LASK are quite the opposite. They also cannot believe, but for very different reasons, that they have turned this one round from 3 goals down coming into tonight's game, from 4 goals down, quarter of the way through this one, and they have pegged Celtic back and then some. And Celtic, it's a bruising defeat for them. Hatate on the ground. The other Celtic players, they just look absolutely demoralised at what has happened to them out there. The Celtic coaching staff, Martin O'Neill, Sean Maloney, Mark Fotheringham, standing on in disbelief on the touchline at what has transpired tonight in Northern Austria, as LASK have come from 4 goals down to win this tie by 5 goals to 4 in aggregate, and rightly they go towards their fans across to our left-hand side, who have backed them all the way, who have believed all the way, and now the celebrations will begin. But unfortunately for Celtic and Scottish football, it is the Austrian champions who are celebrating taking their place in the league stage, and for Celtic it will have to be the Europa League once again. What a night has been, but not for the right reasons. It finishes LASK 5, Celtic 1 on the night, 5-4 on aggregate.
Celtic in the UEFA Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and 5 Sports Extra 2 with me, Andy Burke. Celtic's Champions League hopes are over for another season. An extraordinary collapse in Linz. They led LASK 3-0 after the first leg. Things looked good when Callum McGregor made it 4-0 in the tie with the first goal this evening. But from there on in, they fell off a cliff, conceded 5 unanswered goals as LASK sealed a 5-4 aggregate victory after extra time. And in the long list of European travails for Celtic in recent years, this may well be the worst of the lot. Alistair Lamont and James McFadden have been describing the action from the stadium in Linz. Scott Brown and Tom English are alongside me in the studio. And Scott, as a former Celtic captain, can you begin to sum up what we've seen from Celtic this evening?
It's going to be hard on Martin, the backroom staff and all the players as well. And like, you got to feel for the fans going over there, because the fans were going over there to hopefully see their team getting into Champions League, and like, it was a fantastic start. You go 1-0 up, and that, as I say, it seems like forever ago, and now they've crashed out the Champions League and they've lost 5 goals on the day, which, like, LASK were a very, very good team. They dominated. They're physically stronger than what Celtic are. They probably outran Celtic a wee bit in a couple of areas, but they looked like they were going to score goals, and the 2 up front were strong, solid and willing runners in behind. And I think that's where Celtic maybe lacked a little bit, and when they were putting crosses in, LASK defenders, their back 5 defended really, really well over 2 legs, and you can see where all Celtic's goals have came from, the edge of the box. So it shows you've not continuously played through them, but they have scored some great goals and they were ruthless in those areas. But take nothing away from LASK. They deserve to go through with that performance, and it's a hard situation, and I feel for the lads because I've been in the situation as well. But you know, you're in front, you've got that lead, and you just can't hold on to it. Couldn't put enough passes together, if I was honest, to manage to control the game, especially as it went on. And I don't think the subs made any impact in the game, and we were talking about that, me and Tom, earlier, and we were just saying that when they came on, you want something from them. You want a running power, you want a bit of calmness on the ball, and we didn't get that today.
Tom, this is a very damaging night for Celtic from the position they were in. Martin O'Neill spoke of the importance of Champions League football, yes, for the money, but more so for the prestige of the club. That reputation has taken a bit of a beating tonight.
Yeah, look, they were obviously hammered. They deserved to go out. LASK were miles better than them. Obviously the 5-1 reflects that, but so many other things reflect that. The other chances that LASK had, the ones off the woodwork, the sheer dominance that they had. And like, even look at last week, we had 3-0. It was a great result for Celtic, but we did flag it up. You know, they had a lot of chances last week. The 2 goals disallowed. Things didn't really fall for them, and they weren't ruthless with their chances tonight. They were. Things did fall for them a little bit, and they took advantage. You know, they'd over the 2 matches, they'd 60 shots on Celtic's goal.
Astonishing.
And Celtic had, I think, 25. So they were obviously a different level tonight, and they exposed Celtic, and you know, time for reflection for all of us. I thought that Celtic had really turned a corner with Duran, with Casper Hu. I still think they're a much better team than they were last season with these guys in it, but they got sorted out tonight. Duran was very, very quiet. Casper Hu worked really hard, but to little avail. And the glaring deficiencies in Celtic's makeup were ruthlessly exposed. Defensively, I thought they were very poor. In their distribution, they were very poor. And they went down in flames. It's an embarrassing, mortifying night for Celtic to lose 5-1 from a position of incredible strength.
Yeah, and Scott, we mentioned earlier about England, Argentina in the World Cup, and how England's got into this defensive crouch, and it's so hard to break out of it. And once LASK got the tails up in that second half, Celtic couldn't really break out of that. They didn't offer much going forward at all.
No, they didn't work the goalie enough at all. They didn't have that creativity high up the park. They didn't have that sharp link-up play that they've probably had since the start of the season, but it's credit to LASK for dealing with that. They've changed up a little bit at half-time. They went a little bit more aggressive because they had nothing to lose at this point in time. And look, after you give a goal away, nice and sloppy from Negrin, but from there, the amount of chances that Celtic gave up from in possession, nice easy passes, not making the right decision, that's what's probably going to hurt Martin a little bit more. But look, from where Celtic were since Martin came in to where they are now, they're in a miles better position. They're bringing players in that are actually in the starting 11, but it shows you on that bench they need better quality players to come on.
Yeah, James McFadden, I think that was a real problem as the game went on, is that the injuries started racking up. Players were going down left, right and centre. You finish the game with a back four of Ralston, Murray, Trusty and Scales, and it's not to denigrate those players, but it's not screaming Champions League quality, is it? The squad depth was maybe exposed a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I think so. You know, Scott said it, I said it during commentary, the subs didn't come on and have a positive impact in the game, and you need that. You need that to happen, whether it's to stem the flow or change the flow. In actual fact, it made them more open. I would say that you're looking at, before the game, how are Celtic going to approach it? Well, they're going to try and be the way that they normally play, aggressive, dominate the ball, try and play and be brave on the ball. Second half, they just kept clearing it. It was aimless. And you could just see LASK getting stronger, more belief building, and Celtic didn't have an answer to that. I mean, even towards the end, they go from, you know, an unbelievable position. They've been 3 goals up, 4 goals up at one stage, to now then chasing a goal to take it to penalties, and they still didn't really create any chances. I think it does expose the squad, but I still think these are players that we've spoken about before coming on and you know, coming into the team and keeping that momentum going. It just wasn't their night tonight. They didn't perform at all. LASK deserving winners. We knew they would be dangerous. We knew that they would come and they would go and put the ball forward and put crosses into the box and have belief, because the goals Celtic scored last week were wonder goals. They were outstanding, but LASK had their chances and they would have known that. They'd have fancied this game tonight. And when you get that one goal and you get the next one, something shifts in football, and there's a bit of fear, a bit of jeopardy creeps in, and players that you're used to seeing making the right decisions start making the wrong decisions, and ultimately they got what they deserved tonight. They didn't deserve to go through, because performance tells you they've done okay in the first half, and the goal, as Scott says, is a gift. That's all they needed. That was all the encouragement, the incentive they needed to say this is possible here, and Celtic didn't recover from that. The second half, they were blown away. Quite frankly, they were sitting in and almost waiting to be beaten. Offered very little. They get into the areas to put the ball in the box. Casper Hou's the only target in there, and they did put a lot in. They had to cover a lot of ground. They had to do a lot of defending. That's not like Celtic. They don't normally have to do that, and you could see that had a toll on most of the squad, most of the team, because they'd no answer. And LASK have come here tonight, showing their absolute best, and got exactly what they deserve out of it. They're going to the Champions League, and they deserve it. Turning a 3-goal deficit from the first leg, 4 goals in a tie, to go and win the game is quite special for the fans here. The fans are still in. Those ultras are still in behind the goal. They deserve it tonight. Celtic haven't done enough, and the squad, I knew it before the game, but if ever you needed a reminder of how much strengthening is needed, then you look at that second half performance and the performance in extra time.
Yeah, it's amazing how one half and a couple of periods of extra time can change perceptions, Tom, because pre-match we were full of praise for the business Celtic have done this season. I think these guys are still good players, Casper Hoon, Camilo Duran and all these guys, but the focus was on quality, not quantity, and we thought they've probably got that balance right in terms of what they've done in holding off spending further money until they guarantee that Champions League football. But tonight was evidence that they didn't have enough.
No, they didn't have enough. We all thought they had enough. We all thought they got the job done at 4-0. How could you not think that?
Yeah.
You're 4-0 up. How could you not think this tie is over? But huge deficiencies in the team, giving the ball away, not closing players down, not working hard enough. I think in some of the instances, just loose play, heads going, and like LASK shot from distance and nearly everything went in. Last week, nothing went in for them.
Although I was just looking at Adeniran's shot that hit the underside of the bar. That was another let-off.
Well, that was another one, the penalty. I mean, it could have
penalty, yeah.
I mean, it could be knocking on for 10.
So much happened in that game.
So much happened. They had so many chances. Celtic folded. They ran around with their hair on fire, and no composure. Not a lot of leadership. LASK. It's just the psychology of elite sport. You know, once LASK get on the front foot. Was to get a couple of goals under the belt. The crowd comes alive, the team comes alive, the team believes we can do this. Okay, we're 4-2 down, but we can do it. Celtic then believe, I think they can do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The whole confidence thing flips. Celtic just looked like a beaten team at 4-3 over the two legs. They just looked like they were gone. And hanging on, and LASK looked like a team that were definitely going to win the tie. They were going to get that goal, that decisive goal, and they got it. And it was actually remarkable to see it as a slow death of Celtic's Champions League prospects. 40 million out the window, and it's 40 million. That's a sore one, but it's also the prestige. Celtic like to think of themselves, even though there's not a lot of evidence, that they are a Champions League team. They like to think that. They're not. I thought they were after last week. Certainly thought it at 4-0, but they're not. There's too much work to be done. I'm thinking, because I got to write a piece at some point once we're off air, like, where does this rate in all of their exits? Last season against Kairat was horrendously bad. I mean, the lack of quality was glaring. It was an appalling exit. Tonight they're 4-0 up in aggregate and they go out on the appalling-ometer.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
They've lost to a much.
Definitely lack, not the quality. They were showing the quality last week. They just. Look, everyone has bad games. I get that, and to do it in such fashion, to have a bad game, because you can look throughout the whole team. So many giveaways, nice easy passes that you see Celtic dictating play, everybody wanting the ball, and it becomes like momentum's the biggest thing in football. As soon as that momentum sways, it's hard to turn that back. And once it goes to 4-1, they've got that little belief in them. Then they get 4-2.
That early goal in the second half was a killer, wasn't it?
That's a hard one, especially for a manager. Because you sit there and you talk, and first 10-15 minutes, we keep this nice and low key. We don't give anything away, and within a minute and a half, 2 minutes of the second half, you're down to 4-2. And then everything that you say at half-time turns. The lads start to get a little bit more defensive-minded. They don't want to go and attack because there's going to be big, massive gaps. But look, 2 centre forwards today for LASK were unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that was the difference. They were ruthless, they were physical, they were willing to do everything, and they just wanted the battle more.
Yeah, you have to credit some of the goals, James, that LASK scored tonight, particularly Adeniran's 2 from outside the box. The first one in particular is an absolute stunner of a strike.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'll ask me during commentary, and I can only see them live whether Sin and Salah should get to them. I think the first one in particular, the left-footed one, it's maybe just a surprise that he's taken it, how well he's hit it. It's right in the corner. They showed quality. I think you looked at them, and they are physical. Yes, they get the ball wide, they get crosses into the box, but they've got real quality. I thought Horvat in the second half, his intelligence to come out and play in this left-hand side and drift, it stretched the game, allowed the 2 up front to go and chase, use their body well, showed real quality. And Scott mentioned that momentum, when you get that momentum, that belief, I think they came into the game with a bit of hope that they could go and get a goal and make it interesting. To then it was real belief in the whole stadium that it's coming, the goal's coming. They'll get the goals they need. and it was epitomised by the two up front. I thought at the back as well, they were solid at the back, defended, they were brave. The wing backs getting high and wide and getting forward, getting crosses into the box. And in midfield, I thought Bogard was excellent, really strong in there, and they just overwhelmed Celtic. And it's something we don't normally say or normally see, especially when it's a team that you're looking at it and saying Celtic should have enough. Celtic have enough to beat LASK. But LASK made it the type of game that they wanted, that suited them. Celtic couldn't deal with it. And Scott's spot on. The amount of times they just hoofed the ball clear, or they didn't find a pass, or it was a little bit slack, or just the wrong side. That we don't normally see that with Celtic, and they had to put so much work in. Then momentum comes, and it's not fear, but just a little bit of tension comes into your game, and that simple pass or that easy decision that normally you don't even think about, you just do it, then becomes a thought process, and that's a dangerous place to be. And you just feel it's coming, it's overwhelming you, and that's exactly what happened. Even getting into the extra time, you're looking at Celtic making the changes, totally understand why they do it, go big and strong at the back, deal with aerial threat. The ball comes in, you've got 4 big guys there that can go and head it clear. But then what happens when the equaliser comes? How do you change that momentum to being sitting waiting to try and see a game out, to then go and flipping it, to go and try and take control and get back into your rhythm? Once you're knocked out of it, it's so difficult to get back into it. And LASK just overpowered Celtic, outran them, scored some wonderful goals, some real quality as well. The subs that come on for them, full of running, quality. Celtic just didn't have the answer.
Scott, what James is saying there about the psychological state when the game's getting away from you, the situation's getting away from you, as he said, you feel overwhelmed. Does that then take a physical toll? Is that because it's unusual to see as many guys going down with cramp as we did tonight with Celtic? It didn't seem to affect LASK in the same way. Is that a psychological element, or what was going on there?
Yeah, a bit physical and mentally as well, if I'm honest, because it's hard, because you put doubt in your own body. And even what James was talking about there's a 5-yard pass, you start to doubt yourself. So it's safer for me to clear it, and it goes 60 yards, they bring the ball, they come back forward. But like, the pitch was very, very soft. It was wet, it was raining the whole time, and you look at Celtic Park, it's nice and solid, it's sleek, and like, I'm not making any excuses, it's 2 totally different kind of pitches, and it suited LASK a lot more. That direct approach, the ball holding up a little bit more as well. But everything that came in the box, it was a battle. Everybody wanted to put their head on it, everybody wanted to score a goal, and when it went into the box in the opposite end, it didn't look like any Celtic player was going to put their head on the ball.
You had a look at the replay of the goals, Tom. I don't feel like we got all the best angles of some of the goals tonight, but the second...
God,
the second goal from Adeniran with a long ranger, but the kind of the more daisy cutter.
Oh yeah,
you felt maybe Sinisalo could have got down a wee bit quicker to that.
I do. Now I don't know if it was his view obscured, but I think he was slow down.
I mean, it was very well placed, but it does bounce quite a few times.
It does, and it's not a rocket. It's not a shot that's hit. It's not a thunderously well hit shot. It's well placed, but it's from distance. If he can see that coming, then I think he needs to do better there. You'd expect a really good goalkeeper to make a save like that. And Sinisalo, you know, he had a good first game, and he made a couple of good saves tonight. But there, I think, you know, again, I'd like to see it from behind the goal. Has he got a clear view of that? If he's got a clear view of that, I think he's done poorly.
Well, that was a debatable one. There were other errors, Scott, that were maybe more obvious. Austin Trusty caught out for one of the goals. Luke McCowan caught out in possession for another one of the goals.
Trusty getting bullied by Yusof.
Yeah.
And you want your centre half on the touchline. He just gets pushed over so easily. And for me, I'm 6'4". I'm nice and physical. Use your strength. And like, he was second best to a lot today, if I'm honest. Things in there, and that's the one thing that I think everyone puts a little bit of doubt in, because I think he's got everything. You look at him, strong, physical, when he wants to be. He needs to bring that to his game week in, week out, and small decisions like that, he needs to make sure he bullies the centre forward or whoever it is. But at the same time, the amount of space between the two centre halves at that point, because he's went right out to the touchline. That's when like Cal's having to come and fill in. And then naturally your team gets so much deeper as well, because that's one person out of position, so the next two midfielders are dropping underneath the ball as well, and the gaps between the centre midfielders and the centre forwards become 30 and 40 yards, and the link-up play becomes harder. But that's credit to what LASK done, and that was the second half. That was more because Horvath was going out wide on the left-hand side. Usar was running way beyond on the right-hand side as well. So they stretched the two centre halves as much as they possibly could.
I mean, if you look at their goals, their equaliser Usar, it's a gift from Nigren. Right? It's an absolute gift. The one just after half-time for Lubicic, that's the trusty one.
Trusty one, yeah.
Done out wide, too weak. He's just too weak, and they score off that. The third one, a dinner end, that's the beauty. That's the 25-yard.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic finish.
That's just a brilliant goal. The fourth one, header from Alamau, I think, saved, and Flecker nods it in. No challenge from Celtic defenders. He's there on his own. Two free headers right in front of the Celtic goal. That's 4-1. And then the fifth one we just talked about should Sinisalo have done better. So you could say three of those goals, possibly four of those goals, you got to ask major questions for Celtic. But then there were other moments that LASK had that they could have scored. You know, so they thoroughly deserved it. This was a weak, physically and mentally weak Celtic performance. This is a capitulation, a collapse, call it what you will. But the hungrier team, the more physical team, the better team, obviously. But LASK looked like they were here to battle. They were ready to battle, and Celtic weren't.
And it all seemed to be perfectly in hand, James, at half-time. 1-1, OK, Benjamin Nygren had made that error and LASK had equalised, but Celtic had competed fine in that first half, and I don't think any of us quite sensed that level of collapse coming.
No, I didn't. I thought that, you know, the goal they score is a gift, and Nygren just plays a blind pass, as we all know. But that can happen. You're still in a really strong position. It's when you come out again at that second half, knowing that they're shooting into their fans that are still in the stadium, by the way. They're shooting into the fans that are making all the noise, they sung the whole way through. You know they're going to prefer to shoot into that area, so you need to make sure you come out ready for what's coming. And I don't think they were. I didn't see it coming, but they weren't ready for what LASK were bringing the second half. They didn't stand up to it. It's more so, before the game we were speaking about how much better Celtic look going forward and how dangerous they are. They always look like they're going to score goals. So they didn't from the kick-off for the second half. They didn't look like they were going to score goals. They didn't have that same threat. And LASK just came out and totally blew them away. And it can be the small moments in the game where your decision making can be a bit better, but you've still got time to recover and they don't. Or maybe just slightly taking your eye off the ball, thinking this isn't possible here. There's no way that from this position you're going to lose the game. Well, if you've got a team that've got nothing to lose but total belief in what they do and how they go about it, it's always dangerous. It's always dangerous. Nothing to lose from LASK. They come out and they turn on the style in the second half, and the pressure that they put Celtic under, they couldn't stand up to it. And again, I'm going to say it, they got what they deserved. The team that goes through tonight is a team that deserved to go through, and that was LASK, because they showed great character and courage, and also some really good quality to get themselves into a position where they're going into Champions League for the first time, and they deserve it. Celtic, they will go and analyse it and what they could have done better. Ultimately, I think you're speaking about the trust they want. It comes down to moments in the game where you're not asking for anybody to do anything special. You're just asking them to do something that you expect. Trusty, when Usar runs him down the line, Trusty gets himself in a position where he's favourite, he needs to deal with it, and he doesn't. And then that impacts on two teams. Celtic, they know they're vulnerable. LASK know, get it down the sides, get it forward, use the strength and use the physicality to go and disrupt them. And it's exactly what they did, allied with the quality that they showed in the areas as well. Again, Horvath, I thought it was excellent second half. Couldn't get near him. Really, really dominant performance from him. And they just went from strength to strength.
Yeah, Horvath's a bit of a player, Scott. I think we saw signs of that last week. He caused Celtic problems, but tonight he really kind of took a grip of the game, didn't he?
Yeah, he caused a lot of problems. Very, very good quality player, if I'm honest. Takes the ball under pressure, creates chances. His link-up play with the strikers was really good, but his understanding of the game as well was so good, as for us to watch and to see him just pulling players out of position and holding positions that nobody really wants. But then his first touch, he's receiving, he's taking it forward, he's playing little balls down the channels for nice weighty passes, and look, that's what you want a number 10, attacking midfielder to be doing, and that's what he done in the last 2 games. And I seen glimpses of him in the first game, but I thought Celtic got after him a lot better after the first 10-15 minutes in the game, and today they probably couldn't get after him as much because how stretched the game was, and how, especially in the second half, how wide he went as well, and it caused a lot of problems for that midfield.
I'm thinking back and cringing at my comment at half-time, Tom, about how LASK were a great team up until the final third and how they just weren't efficient in front of goal. That I've got a bit of egg in my face now. It was like
I think we all have.
They all the chances started flying in, and you can't say they didn't deserve them for how many they created over the 2 legs.
Yeah, Celtic didn't have a shot on target in the second half. In the first half of extra time, or the second half of extra time. So sometime in the first half was their last shot on target. So it's, yeah.
Right, I think we can hear now from Martin O'Neill at his press conference.
Around our penalty area, but one of them should have been really out of sight by half time. We allowed them into it just before that, and that give them something to hold on to. Just after half-time again, they score, so the momentum goes with them. We were unable to stem the flow at that particular stage, and yeah, just really disappointing that we didn't see it through with a couple of minutes to go as well.
I mean, you said yesterday you weren't sure if you got a goal, whether that would be enough.
No, I didn't. I thought that if we could score away, that one was never sure. But I mean, they're a good side, but we were really disappointing, and that's obviously down to me.
Is it? I mean, is it down to you though?
Yeah, of course it is. I'm responsible for the team. I'm responsible for it, and I'm the manager of the side. And yeah, I'm just incredibly disappointed. Disappointed for, obviously, for the Celtic diaspora and the Celtic people who come to the football matches on a fortnightly basis for us.
As you say, having gone that 4 goals up in the tie, you were in an excellent position. Is it fair to say that a team of the calibre of Celtic should not allow a 4-goal lead to slip?
No, absolutely, not at all. Shouldn't do, and I'm, I would accept the responsibility. That is down to me, regardless, whatever you think it might be, whether it's tactics, whether it's fitness, whether it's just everything perhaps. But we shouldn't have done that. And from the position that we were in, we shouldn't even have been going into extra time.
There was a sense last year at this time that a lack of investment had hampered the attempt to get beyond this stage. Given that there's been a fair amount this year, do you feel there's been sufficient?
I don't. I think that the game comes pretty early for us in that sense. I've known this from the past when we've way back years ago when we've tried to qualify teams that you think that you might be able to beat, but will cause you a problem. Now that doesn't mean. I just think that the Austrian side are a fine team. They've got pace, they've got a bit of strength, they've got a bit of power about them. But in all honesty, we should have seen it through, and we didn't, and that's a major disappointment to me.
Just following on from that, Martin, though, in terms of your squad, I mean, you're making running repairs in the end, and you're having to delve deep into the squad. Did that kind of lack of depth cost you as well in the end? Because obviously the goals started flying in late, and
I think that what what these games, these type of games, show you that we have obviously a lot of work to do in that aspect. You can cover over cracks at certain stages, but overall these games are real tests for you, and unfortunately we failed that test tonight.
This is now the sixth qualifying campaign that Celtic have failed to get through in the Champions League. Is that evidence of something systematically problem?
I really don't know. I'm responsible for this one, and I don't know what has happened in the past, but it's not a great statistic.
Martin, you've been in football for a very long time. Is tonight's result up there with one of the worst you've experienced on the touchline?
Yes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, naturally, it took me a long time to get over the UEFA Cup final in 2003, and but this was majorly disappointing. Yeah.
What worse than that, perhaps?
I think that in the context of things, one was a final, which is obviously good. Been nice to have won. Been terrific to have won. This was a qualifying game, one of which we should have been able to get through, and we didn't. And that's, as I said, that's my responsibility.
You've reiterated it's your responsibility, but what does tonight's performance and result tell you about your team and about your squad of players?
Well, I think that we know that we are a million miles from the finished article. That's absolutely true. I think we thought that anyway, regardless. But we know we should. Again, you're going into a game. You're 3-0 up in a match. You've just scored. Should have been out of sight, I suppose. And then we concede just before half-time and one after. Momentum swings. Momentum, as we all know, is a big thing, and we weren't able to stem it for a while. But I thought that we might have, or should have been able to have seen it through even at the very end.
Supporters in the away end after full time, I looked across, they looked pretty furious towards the team and the players and the performance. This time last month, it was the start of a bit of a breaking down in the relationship between some of the club's fans and the club, which seemed to have been, partially patched back together again after you won the league in a good form to the start of the season. Do you wonder?
No,
do you worry that maybe
that'll
take a back step?
That's something obviously that sort of thing you're not in control of. If you do control it, it means you're trying to win football matches and qualify. The qualification for the Champions League is major. It's really major. It's major in every aspect. It is financially for the football club. It is for prestige for all of us. Want to try and qualify. And being in the Europa League, scant consolation tonight. But we have to pick ourselves up, and and that's what we'll have to do. And that's my responsibility again to do that.
And as for further recruitment, there's about a week left of the window. You say you're a million miles from where you'd like to be. How much do you think your efforts to bring in better players will be hampered by tonight's result?
I don't know. I think I said last week that if you could qualify for the Champions League, I think there would be players that would be wanting to come on that very basis. So that's not going to be the case, but we'll see. And when I say that we're short, and maybe talking about a million miles away, we played brilliantly the other evening, brilliantly in the game. I thought they were fine side as well too, scored some great goals. And tonight, when we came up well and truly short, particularly in the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, that was pretty despondent Celtic manager Martin O'Neill, it has to be said there. Tom said his team just couldn't stem the flow. Really disappointing, and that's down to me standing in front of his players there. He talked about shouldn't have been in a position of shipping a 4-goal lead, whether it's tactics, whether it's fitness, which we discussed as well. That game shouldn't have even gone to extra time. One of his worst experiences as a manager.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, he takes responsibility. We give Martin O'Neill huge credit for turning things around last season and winning the league. Well, we have to give him great criticism tonight for the way his team capitulated. It's his team. He's prepared this team. I think there's an awful lot of players you have to give criticism to as well for folding. But the manager has to take his brunt, and he's not shying away from that, is he? I mean, he said it 3 or 4 times. I'm responsible for the team. I'm responsible for the side. It's my responsibility. He's not shying away from that. But it's right, I think, that he says those things. But the team is. I'm kind of shocked at the way they just collapsed. I didn't see that coming, and I thought they were better players, and I thought they were more leaders, and I thought they were stronger mentally, and it's not the case, not yet anyway.
Is Martin O'Neill, Scott, doing what good managers do and standing between the criticism and his players, or do you think he will privately think both legs of this tie were very, very open, we left ourselves open, and maybe I did get this wrong?
Look, I love Martin's honesty, and I'm sure if you sat and asked him a question, he'd be 100% honest. And I don't think it was about tactics today. I honestly see they wanted to fight more, and you can see the way they were going to play. They were physical, they were strong, they were direct at times. Anytime the ball went out wide, it came in the box. Decent quality, and it caused problems. The amount of balls that went flying across the 6-yard box and nobody's touched. So I think that's a side that Martin will be feeling, how can we stop that if we play against 2 up front again? Because you will get that in Scotland. Teams play 2 up front against them, and they'll play a 3-5-2, and they'll have watched that game and now think, right, we can hopefully pull centre halves out, we can whip balls in the box, and we can create chances. But the one thing is, I love Martin's honesty, but I've been in those dressing rooms. You've got to take responsibility yourself, because you've went on the pitch. Yes, you've maybe not had the best game, right? And it does happen. But togetherness, that work rate, everybody has to stick together. You have to be there as one unit. And sometimes, look, when it is not going your way, just make 4 or 5 passes. And that takes a lot of pressure off at everybody. And there wasn't enough leaders. Cal McGregor's always want the ball. Jan was fantastic. We talked about how good Jan was in the first half. Jan didn't turn up the second half.
Yeah.
And then you bring Taneki on. Taneki just wanted to keep coming in the park and didn't want to run in behind. And I'm looking at the team, and I talk about Arne Engels' running power, and I love running power. LASK had that running power today. Arne Engels would have been suited so good for this game. And look, I know the money's fantastic for him to go down, and it's probably the right thing to do, but they need a midfielder that can do what Engels does. They need a midfielder that can run in behind, that can cause teams problems, and LASK done that with 3 or 4 players today, not just one. And it was a willingness to get up front. The 2 wing backs locked the 2 full backs back the park as well, and you had the 2 8s running off, and it was Callum McGregor in there, and as soon as you pull one of the centre halves out, Cal's having to follow the other one in behind, and Cal doesn't want to be doing that, because I've been in those situations. You don't want to be dragged back into centre half, but that's what happens if you've got that running power and that and willing to do that.
Well, you mentioned Callum McGregor and James McFadden. I want to get your thoughts on these comments that Callum McGregor's given to our colleagues at Amazon Prime after the game. He said, "We got what we deserved. We were passive all night. We looked scared to go and win the game. I didn't think we were that good in the first leg either. We scored at good times and we got away with it. We have to suck it up. We apologise to our supporters and the club, because there's no way we should lose that game. It's as much on the players as everyone else. You can't look for excuses elsewhere. You'll now see what people are made of." Callum McGregor's a pretty measured guy, James, and that's pretty strong stuff from him.
Yeah, it is, but it's exactly what happened. I mean, he's saying what we're all watching. You're looking, Scott's just spoke about it. Can you play 4 or 5 passes? They didn't have enough players that were willing to go and it's not even take a risk, but just take control of situations. Callum McGregor has come out because it's straight after the game. He's going to be hurting, but how often do we talk about him setting the standard, telling everybody what's required? Well, that's him telling you, reminding everyone there's a certain level, a certain standard that you need to get to, and they didn't get there tonight. I said that I'm watching a team that I didn't recognise as a Celtic team because of they were getting overrun. They didn't look like they could string the passes together. They didn't look like they could control the tempo of the game, and they didn't play the way that we normally see Celtic playing. So I'm not surprised by that. I know he is measured, but he's also passionate, and he's also the guy that everybody, when it goes well, they talk about how strong Callum McGregor is, what standards he sets, and when it doesn't, obviously as a captain he has to come out and speak, but he's telling everybody that's what you want to hear. You want to hear that for Callum McGregor. You don't want him to come out and say, you know what, just wasn't our night, they were really good, and on another night, if we take our chances, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to hear that. I think that's really strong from Callum McGregor. It's a message to the squad. Right, it's done now. How do you react? How do you respond to it? And he's putting it out there for everyone to see and hear. So no, I like that from Callum McGregor.
Yeah, it's a bit of an evisceration of the dressing room, of his teammates. Scared to win the game, passive. Didn't think we were that good in the first leg either. And yeah, I'm not saying revisionism from Callum McGregor. I'm not saying that at all. Maybe revisionism from me a little bit here, in that you look back at last week, all the chances that LASK had, 2 goals disallowed, narrow, rightly so, but narrow offsides. The other chances that LASK had, you look at the Dundee United game, yes, Celtic battered them, but Dundee United hit the woodwork 5 times. So this Celtic team, offensively, when things are going right, they look very, very good, as they did last week. But there are big, big gaps. They're giving up so many chances. And in Scotland, they get away with that more often than not. In last week, they got away with it. You don't always get away with it forever. And tonight they didn't get away with it. And they gave LASK so much space. They gave them so many chances. They were asking to be beaten heavily tonight, given the chances they gave up and the space they gave up. And, you know, to quote Callum McGregor, the past they were passive and scared.
Scott Brown, last word to you. It's been a bitterly disappointing night for Celtic. You mentioned you've been in this situation before. The Champions League is such a big carrot, such a big ambition of the club. It's always a blow when you don't get there. How long does it take to get over, and how do these guys go about bouncing back from this?
You can see with Cal, it's hurt him. It has, especially after the first leg, 3-0, going 4-0 up. Callum McGregor does not want to lose a game, no matter lose 5 goals, and the way they did as well. So, as James says, he sets standards every day. He does, and that's not just in games and that, it's in and around the dressing room. That's how he talks to people. That's what he looks like as in his body. And you can still see now, I've seen that stat, Cal ran the most. Right? It shows you he always wants it. But everybody should be trying to push to his level. And it's not just a one-off game for Cal. Cal does this week in, week out, and he does that in training daily. And that's what people, whether you think you've done really well after one game or not, you need to continuously keep doing that. And that's what a good team player does. But that's also what a good captain does as well. Comes out, knows not to go over the limit with what he says. But tell you what, I'd love to be a fly in that dressing room with what Cal says, because this means, the club means more to Callum than anything. And so does that Champions League. He wants to play against the best players in the world, the best teams in the world. And he believes that he can pretty much compare every single player to how he is as well. But he needs to be in that Champions League, and that's what he's more devastated about than anything, because he knows that Celtic should be a Champions League club, but after that performance level, they're not tonight.
Yeah, they're certainly not. It was a humbling night for Celtic. It all looked so good when Callum McGregor gave them the lead in Austria. They led LASK by 4-0 on aggregate at that stage, but then one almighty collapse. They shipped 5 unanswered goals to lose in extra time, going out 5-4 in aggregate. LASK advanced to the Champions League, and Celtic are left to contend with the Europa League this season. It is a dark night in their European history, and it will take a bit of getting over. But for now, that's it from us here on